Hi, I'm Abid Zedi and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Microsoft in the Philippines. Microsoft Philippines is celebrating 25th year this year. And what better platform for us to celebrate the work that we are doing with startups in the region than the Philippines Startup Week? Empowering startups is a big part of Microsoft's mission to empower every person on the planet. And we empower startups by helping them use innovation and agility to disrupt their industries. So it is in this spirit we are bringing Highway to 100 unicorns to the Philippines and the rest of Asia Pacific. We believe in the potential of Philippine startup ecosystem and are investing in empowering and enabling the ecosystem to do more. It is also our honor to be at the Philippine Startup Week and have the opportunity to showcase some of the best and the brightest startups from across the Asia Pacific region. We're also very thankful to everybody for having us and taking the time to attend our pitch competition. Cubo, Idea Space, Microsoft for Startup regional teams. I'd also like to thank our government partners, DICT, DOST, DTI. We are all in and partnering with the ecosystem to enable and grow the startup ecosystem to reach its full potential.
Good morning and welcome to all of you to the Highway to 100 Unicorns APAC Emergex competition being run at the Philippine Startup Week. My name is Latika Pai and I head Microsoft for Startups for India and Southeast Asia. This has been an absolutely phenomenal journey for us here at Microsoft. Over the past 8 weeks, we have engaged with 16 country ecosystem players, close to 70 plus of them. We've had 300 plus nominations for startups, and today we get to see the top 20 startup pitch for the top 3 positions of Emergex. Emergex is a program that Microsoft for Startups has brought to these countries where we engage with high potential startups and we make sure that we help these startups achieve great heights by leveraging the Microsoft platform, not just in terms of technology, but also taking you to our clients globally. Good luck to each one of the startups who are pitching out here. I believe that we have the best and the brightest from each one of the countries. With us today, we have a fantastic panel of jury members who have joined us from different parts of the world. This is the power of being able to run these programs virtually because we've been able to get absolutely phenomenal jury members. We have Bala Girisabala, who is the APAC MD for Vista Consulting. Bala is a good friend, was also the president of Techstars until recently, and his focus is on investing in early stage startups in the APAC region. Farhan Rahman is from Bangladesh and is part of SPK Ventures. They have a phenomenal portfolio of startups who have been, in terms of investing early in the Bangladesh market. Prajit Balasubramanian, another good friend, started the first venture capital firm in Sri Lanka and is really doing a lot for the emerging markets. Prajit, thank you for being here. We have Cassie McAdams, Investment and Community Manager at Movac. Cassie, thank you for being a huge supporter of Microsoft for Startups. I know you work very closely with Emily and appreciate you being here. Juliana Jan is the Chief Investment Officer at Cradle. Cradle has done, is our partner in Malaysia, and we look forward to working with you closely. Peter Kemps is the principal at Sequoia, and Peter, I know there are a lot of things you do, but your focus is on Surge, where Surge is looking for early stage startups. So thank you for being here today with us. Lastly, we have Manish Sharma. Manish is the MD for GitHub. GitHub and Microsoft for Startups works extremely closely together here in India, and we're looking forward to taking that relationship to the region. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Emily Rich, who is the MD for Microsoft for Startups for the APAC region based out of Sydney.
Thanks, Latika, and a huge thank you to everyone who's here today. And with that, I think we're going to let our first startup in. We have 10 amazing startups to get through. So our first pitch of the day will be Soft Solver Solutions from Malaysia. If you could please introduce yourself and start your pitch when you're ready. Reminder, you have 6 minutes.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm Deep from Malaysia. I'm a founder of a startup called Agilix, which focuses on software for the insurance industry. Basically, it focuses on the policies and claims, but of course, that's just the start of it. There are lots of other things which help in automating the operations in the industry. Not just the insurance companies, we focus on insurance brokers as well as agencies. We are trying to create the end-to-end chain of more productive and efficient way of moving the data. As a team, me and Sarab, the co-founders of this company, this is our second startup. Previously, we did online CRM application, which is called Second CRM. And this insurance, Agilix also came out of something from there. We had a customer 5 years back who wanted to build something on top of our CRM. And that's how we started working on some of these insurance things. And then recently, end of last year, we decided to take it as a full product. We have a team of 30 people based here in Malaysia. We have an office in Singapore as well, which is kind of a sales office with just one guy. And we do have customers in the entire Asia Pacific region. The problem which we are trying to solve is the industry itself is very old. And I'm sure most of you will have at least some experience buying a policy, renewing a policy, or if it's a claim, things just move too slowly. The main reason for that is lack of modern solutions. I know that US and Europe, a lot of those areas, there are lots of insurtech startups and things are moving quite fast, but the Asia is still quite behind the curve. It's not easy for these companies to launch new products. That's why there are a lot of small startups coming up, which are more creative than these bigger incumbents kind of guys. But they need tech. Once the tech is there, chances of them to compete with those insurtechs are still there. Or of course they can acquire or partner with those guys, but that's a different story. But what we are trying to do is to focus on those insurance companies or brokers or agencies to improve their or to take their game one level higher. What we are offering is cloud, SaaS, and mobile, which is normally not really in general in the insurance industry. And that is what we are trying to do with Agilix. We built this solution together with a partner come customer called Baltac. It was a long journey over the last 5 years. Of course, we were not really decided from day one that we will do this as a separate product. It was just one of our CRM customer. But over the period of time, we built something which was quite good, and it was already deployed in 5 different countries for Baltac. And that's where we thought of, hey, this is something good, and we should actually start offering this to other customers in the region. We took this decision early this year, and we launched Agilix in May 2020. We already closed one project, one customer in Singapore, which is AWG Insurance. It's a broker, and we are working very closely with them to build a broker automation solution. It's end-to-end automation for a broker organization, which has links with the one side of the customers and one side is insurance companies. We also recently have started a POC with AXA in Malaysia. This is specifically for online portal, which will include the policy selling as well as the claim submission. And actually speaking, there's quite a good list of prospective customers which we have currently across the region, which we are talks at different levels, and things are looking pretty good. At this point of time, software is deployed in 6 different countries, 13 million active policies, and we are adding almost 500,000 new policies every month. It's a software as a service. So basically, there's a subscription component and there are some professional services. Professional services are important. We can't be 100% subscription because it's an enterprise SaaS. So we always need to have some kind of an integration into their backend systems or some kind of those kind of stuff. So professional services is always there. Roughly, we are at 250,000 ARR at this point of time. And of course, it's a pretty profitable business because first of all, customers don't leave. And secondly, is they keep on adding more stuff to it. And this year, of course, is slow because COVID, and plus it's the first year for us to get started. But next coming years, we are seeing is there's a pretty huge growth. And we're also looking for some funds to improve this, our journey. This is what we have done so far in terms of funding. Previous first part, which is early this year till mid of this year, the whole the investment was through our internal resources because of our earlier product, which is second CRM. Then in the middle of the year, we were accepted in this accelerator program in Malaysia, which is Scale Up Malaysia. Small money, but yes, it gives us a bit of a start. Very recently, like last week, we got accepted with this MDV, also in Malaysia, which gave us around 200,000 a debt-based investment. Our plan is somewhere by second quarter of next year is where we are looking for. We are calling it as a pre-series A, but it's okay. We can call it as a series or pre-series A. But roughly, this is what we are thinking is that around 800K is what we are looking for in early to mid of next year is when we'll actually go for the funding.
1 minute left.
Yeah, it's the last slide. The solution is built on multiple technologies. The backend is because our CRM was in PHP MySQL. That's how we started. But now there are a lot of front-end applications which we have built in React and Flutter. Everything is hosted on cloud. We use AWS and GCP. And as it's a suite of products, so there will be, of course, a lot of new IP will be generated while doing this one. What I shared with you is actually just the brokers and the insurance solution, but we have multiple other solutions in terms of creating a common APIs for insurance. There's a lot of those kind of stuff which will be coming up as we because when we see the limits or see the restrictions, we feel there's a lot more to be done in this particular industry, which we'll be doing in coming weeks. Thank you very much. If there is any other question, do let me know. Thank you.
I had a question, Mohandeep. This is Manish here. Hi, nice presentation. Do you have a view of your total addressable market? I don't know if you covered that on your revenue slide.
No, I never really because, sorry.
And a follow-up question, sorry, on that one is when you're addressing the TAM question, is it only restricted to APAC or do you think you can take it to the other markets like, let's say, Africa, Middle East, etc.?
Okay, if you talk about the entire world, entire software for insurance, it's 50 billion industry. It's really huge. Our focus currently is only on general insurance, so which reduces from 50 billion to 27 billion. And then our current focus is only Asia Pacific, which further reduces is to 7 billion. But still, 7 billion is a huge market just for Asia Pacific, just for general insurance software. And as the second part of question, we started from Asia Pacific, but we already have seen at least 4 or 5 countries. Almost everything is same. So that means we actually will be going global, but not at this stage, probably in another 2 years time, once we already have good case studies in this region, and then we'll go add more and more countries. We started with Malaysia, Singapore. Next year, we're starting Indonesia and Philippines, and then we'll add more and more countries. And in another few years, once a little bit credibility is there, we'll be a global company. Then at that point of time, probably we'll be working on the 50 billion TAM rather than the 7 billion TAM.
Got it. Thank you.
So I was just looking at you. You've been in business for 5 years, and you're focusing on 3 verticals. Is there any particular one that you want to have as a core in your business? And also, I want to know in that core what your competition is in terms of startups, and what is your USP against them?
Sure. Of course, we do multiple things because it was a general CRM and how we started. But right now, the core where we are focusing upon is the insurance sector. And actually speaking, there are not much competition in this. We have kind of evaluated the whole country, not whole country, the whole region. There are only 2-3 other startups which are in the similar things, and some of these guys are coming from overseas. So main thing which we are saying here is the regulatory, the localization.
In the insurance verticals itself, you've got 3 different products, right? You've got the
okay. No, that all we will have all 3, because the reason is we want to improve the communication among the different partners as well. So I need to have insurance working with the agencies in a better way, or brokers working with the other side. So we'll be doing all 3. Of course, there is a possibility in coming years, probably one segment will become bigger than the other segment because insurance company may not buy straight away from us. So what we are offering to insurance guys is a smaller portion, say agency management, or say only the broker communication. But we have to take all of them together because we want to improve the communication within the part. But definitely, I'm fully with you that at some point of time, probably one segment will become a bigger segment for us. Right now, we don't really have any particular fixation on any of that.
Okay, thank you, Mohandeep. Thank you so much for your pitch.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
next one. Please introduce yourselves and start your pitch. 6 minutes, and I'll let you know when you have 1 minute left.
Right. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Lin Tang. I am a co-founder of Convergent AI. So Convergent AI was founded by my two co-founders, along with myself. We met during our time in studying machine learning in the University of Indonesia. But of course, we did 3 different researches. My research focused on combining knowledge retrieved from both images as well as text and combining them to a grounded understanding of the world, while my friend Devin focused on computer vision and Rohan focused on optimization theory and optimization algorithms, particularly in the machine learning space. So we built Convergent AI to provide a useful machine learning applications for the industry. So from our understanding, most business processes start and end with a document. However, these documents are unstructured data if seen from a machine perspective, since they are not easily retrievable by a computer. That is due to the fact that they make up different formats from typical relational databases and so on. And so in order to perform any action based on these sorts of documents, these documents typically must be entered into a system, and that typically requires humans to input manually. Convergent AI solves that problem by collecting these documents and parsing information, useful information from these documents according to what the user requires, and then in turn produce insight that will be valuable for their next business process. Currently, we've been working with many corporations from different verticals. Currently, we have 4 verticals, but mostly our current footing is in the financial services, where we work with banks such as BCA, which is the largest private bank in Indonesia, as well as other members of prestigious groups such as Astra and Suzuki. But of course, when it comes to data entry and data extraction, other verticals also benefit from our technology, such as that in loyalty programs and retail, and as well as legal corporations. Our current run rate this year has been around $87,000 US, and our projected run rate for the coming year, 2021, based on this year's current revenue as well as deals that we have closed since the past year, is projected to be around $200,000 US, with around 50% of them being recurring annual revenue. To date, we have raised $400,000 US from GDP Venture. They are one of the prominent venture capitals in Indonesia, held by the largest conglomerate in Indonesia. And we are open to strategic investments that can widen our market reach and verticals. We believe that this approach is more beneficial for the investor as well as for us, since this path is more profit oriented and also helps us explore verticals that we may not have access yet. For example, healthcare, as well as deepen our current verticals, such as the ones that we have already have in the first place. For example, financial services. Right. So to explain how we are able to achieve such a product to help these many verticals, our technology, or our underlying technology, is based on contextual base extraction, which differs from template base that typically is used in Indonesia and is done through many rule-based oriented systems, which takes to account features such as coordinates and so on. So these approaches are not quite good in the sense that if a different document or if the same document with different types of conditions, lighting, and so on, these approach tends to fail. Whereas our contextual-based system, which consists of proprietary algorithmic modules that we've built over the past 2 years since we've first incorporated, takes to account relations from each type of data. So it takes to account the entire document and extracts based on multitudes of features such as the document, the format, the types of data that is available. And to top that off, we have private collections of real-world data sets, which we have invested quite some time in collecting and annotating. So to close this, Convergent AI aims to eliminate data entry, particularly the manual process, and free humankind from the mundane experiences of these operations. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. All right, we will go to questions.
I'm very curious to know how you deal with say multilingual documents or languages other than English.
Right now, our current technology handles English and Indonesian. Typically, we do two approaches. We train the model to handle both language at once, and a secondary model that handles languages one at a time. So our basic system is that we have an ensemble system that sees these documents, typically like how a team of people would see these types of documents.
Great. Eunice?
Hi, Lin-Tang. Thanks for the presentation. Can you talk a bit about who you typically sell to and what the more common use cases are?
Right, thank you. So currently, our strongest market is in the financial services. They typically require to extract documents regarding identities of their customers. So documents that prove the identity or give more details about who they are, as well as documents that involve trade, so bill of lading, invoices. And these documents come in bulk because they are typically something that corporates have to give in order to apply for a loan. So these are the most typical use cases that we have. Other than that, our secondary most wide use case is reading receipts for loyalty programs.
I see. And who do you sell to typically within an enterprise, like your first point of contact?
Our first point of contact usually is the user directly. So we've established contacts with people who will generally be the user for that system. And afterwards, most of the time after a demonstration and after that, we typically pitch to the executives for there to have a decision for a POC or direct to usage.
Very interesting.
Okay, that's all we have time for, unfortunately. Lin-Tang, thank you so much for your wonderful pitch. You can jump off now.
Thank you everyone. Have a good day.
Okay, we have the next startup in the room, I believe. Okay, so next we have and they're from Indonesia. If you could just go ahead and introduce yourself and just start up, and you've got 6 minutes to pitch.
Sure. Just a quick introduction. I'm Rajiv. I'm the founder of ServiceSensum. It's one of the brand within NeuroSensum. So ServiceSensum is a B2B SaaS platform for enterprises. This is my second startup. I already exited the first one 2 years back, and we started ServiceSensum almost a couple of years back. So ServiceSensum is a B2B SaaS platform for enterprises, mainly for their measurement and improvement of customer and employee experience and retention. So the big gap that we are solving, if you look at the consumer research right now, the companies like Nielsen, BCG, Kantar, they give you very rare view. They don't give you real-time feedback. So then what we did but as you know, that the consumers are moving towards experience. They want everything real time. They want brand to understand them real time, and they want, and the entire world is moving towards experiential society. So what we're doing to help enterprises to gain the customer feedback real time, we have created an omni-channel survey platform. And this survey platform is an omni-channel. It also helps in closing the loop. So the enterprises are using us to get the feedback on a real-time basis. Just a quick description of the product. As I mentioned, it's an omni-channel survey platform. So companies can create surveys, they can design surveys, multilinguistic. Now we also provide an open API, so enterprises are able to integrate this with their CRM system. Even with Microsoft Dynamics, we are working with the bank in Indonesia called BTPN Bank. So they integrate our survey platform to Microsoft Dynamics. They can integrate to SAP, Salesforce, Oracle, HubSpot. So we provide omni-channel integrations. So companies are able to integrate with websites, applications, with their apps. So the concept is very simple. The moment customer interact with the brand and the service, immediately a survey goes to the customer. This service can be service on intercepting them on chatbots, intercepting them on website, intercepting them on app, or sending WhatsApp surveys. That is something that recently we launched, SMS surveys or email surveys. So the moment customer gives the reply back, clients can see the analysis live. They don't have to wait for weeks or months, which is what they normally do with consulting. Here they can see the feedback live. So this can be rating data or rating question, or it can be even an open-ended question. Open-ended surveys are like why you're happy, why you're not happy. So what we did, we created the local NLP algorithm, which works in Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Malay, as well as English. Now we are developing Thai as well as Vietnamese. So this NLP algorithm that we have created in Indonesian Bahasa also works category by category. So simple Azure API or Google API doesn't do the job. So we have created categories algorithm. So the machine is a machine learning algorithm. It's able to understand that insurance is different from banking. And clients can get the entire analysis real time. What consumers are saying, why are they saying that, why they're happy, why they're not happy, how we can make them happier. And what we also do, we also create a ticketing system because we do an end-to-end integration with the client ecosystem. The moment you say that I'm not happy with the service, the moment you check out from a hotel, you get a survey, you give a bad feedback, immediately a ticket goes to the customer support team. And they can prioritize tickets, they can reach out to the customers real time. So that's why it's called omni-channel experience platform, which helps in companies to improve their customer experience real time. Now, while we were selling the survey platform to our enterprises, they got very, very interested with our NLP algorithm, which we created for surveys. They wanted to understand, can I use this NLP algorithm for chatbot analysis, app reviews, social media analytics in the native languages? Then we created one more product called conversation analysis, which is voice and text and sentiment analysis. What we do with this platform, which is again a SaaS, companies are able to take our NLP algorithm, they're able to integrate with their chatbots, social media, CRM systems, or even call centers, and they're able to analyze all the textual as well as voice data real time in the native languages. So how does it work? I'll just quickly show you a demo of this. So the moment we plug this algorithm with the chatbot, with the app reviews, with customer email complaints, companies are able to see the sentiment live. They're able to understand the intent of a customer live. They're able to understand the topics live. So they don't have to read one by one what customers are saying. A lot of companies in Europe and US have done this in English, but we are the companies which have cracked this in Bahasa Indonesia as well as Malay. And companies are able to see the summaries live, what consumers are talking about. They can deep dive within these summaries to look at what are the subtopics which are coming in. We also create a ticket on top of that. So now the moment you go to a Tokopedia chatbot, if you write something, the machine is able to real-time tag the data that your intent is urgent, your priority is urgent, your sentiment is negative, and the topic, and that goes to the customer support team so that they can reach out to you real time. So these are the two offerings that we have for SurveySensum. We normally work only with larger enterprises. We don't compete with SurveyMonkey. They are a very, very, possibly I'll say, old platform. We don't serve SMEs. We only go to larger enterprises to help them to improve.
1 minute warning.
Sure. And we've got close to 30 paid clients right now, all large enterprises. We just launched it a year back with $1 million ARR. For next year, we're going to touch close to $4 million ARR. That's something we are projecting. This is our team. Our backend team is in India. Our commercial team is in Indonesia as well as Singapore. We have raised $3.6 million, mainly from Alpha as well as SIG. We are going to close another round. We are looking at getting another round in end of next year, which is we're looking at raising $6 million in the future. So that's what ServiceSensum is all about, to help enterprises to improve their customer experience. Currently, we are on AWS. That's why this is our tech stack right now. We started with AWS because our CTO was comfortable with this. That's something which happened 2 years back. Thank you.
Rajiv, I have one question for you. Since you mentioned you're focusing on large enterprises, how would you compete with a product like Qualtrics?
Right. So we go head on Qualtrics. Now, the key moat that we have against Qualtrics, that of course, we are far more affordable than Qualtrics, but that's not the only proposition. Qualtrics NLP algorithm is very, very good in English, but the moment it comes to native languages like Bahasa Indonesia and Malay, or even Thai and Vietnamese, they really struggle. In fact, in Indonesia, we have won all our pitches that we have done. We have won it against Qualtrics, majority of them. Because I think the key differentiation for us, because we are on the ground, services on the ground, in the same time zone, and at the same time, we have got our local NLP algorithm, which really gives us a big differentiation. But Qualtrics, when they want to analyze the local textual data, they normally use a service from Clarabridge, which is one of the big companies in the US. But I think that's where Qualtrics struggles against us.
And is there a big delta between Qualtrics pricing and your pricing?
Yes, so they're almost 2.5 to 3 times our pricing.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Bala.
Okay, how do you go to market?
Right, so our go-to-market strategy basically starts with our marketing efforts. So we have got a digital marketing team, which normally, so we have gone into more like account-based marketing. So they generate MQL through content marketing, email marketing, webinars. So there are multiple efforts that marketing team does. That's how we got the marketing qualified lead. After that, we have got an inbound sales team. So MQL goes to inbound sales team. They further qualify that, which we call as a SQL. And post the qualification from the inbound sales team, then comes outbound sales team. Then we kind of do a deep discovery with the client, and then comes our customer success team. So kind of follow a SaaS funnel, which is from MQL to SQL to the conversion and onboarding and implementation.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Rajiv. Thank you for a great drop off. So our next startup is from Singapore, Milky Way AI. So if you could please introduce yourself and start your pitch, you have 6 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eunice, the CEO and co-founder of Milky Way AI, who spent the last decade marketing enterprise software for Microsoft and helping the world's largest retailers and brands to optimize sales and predict consumer purchasing behavior at dunnhumby. Joining me is my co-founder Sagar, a rocket scientist from India's top university who has built IoT products for the Indian government. We met at Entrepreneur First, a deep tech startup, end of last year, and our aim is to digitize physical retail with computer vision and AI. What is not on the shelf is not sold. Nestle, the #1 consumer packaged goods brand in the world with over $90 billion of sales, trusts us, a 12-month-old startup, to help them solve out-of-stock and merchandising problems. Today, they are still relying on pen and paper audits to monitor store shelves. These manual audits are at best 50% accurate, it is expensive and tedious. I myself used to do these audits and witnessed the problem firsthand as a sales manager at Shell. In a small country like Malaysia alone, Nestle sends 1,000 merchandisers to do pen and paper audits across 21,000 stores, eyeballing 500 million products per year, and they're getting it wrong. And Nestle is not alone. Each year, global consumer packaged goods brands spend $500 billion to buy prime shelf space to influence consumer purchasing behavior. However, they are unable to get clear visibility on their products and how they're easily being displayed across store shelves. The merchandising and out-of-stock problem is hurting them with $634 billion of missed sales annually. And that is why we built InstaShelf. What used to take hours can now be done in a few minutes with our proprietary computer vision software that delivers over 95% accuracy. Merchandisers no longer need to manually eyeball each product on the shelf and do data entry. They now simply just need to take photos. The sales, marketing, finance, and operations team can now access this information on a web dashboard and take action immediately. Today, InstaShelf is being used by both Kellogg's and Friesland Campina in 2 countries across 35 stores and 50 users. The sales director at Kellogg's is telling us that we are 10 times faster, more accurate, and super easy to use, something that they have never had before. And how are we better compared to our competitors? Our computer vision model can identify products down to flavor and pack size variants with over 95% accuracy. We have secured pilots with some of the largest consumer packaged goods brands and retailers before even launching beta in just 2 months ago. We are proud to be working with Kellogg's, Friesland Campina, Nestle, and Carrefour with a potential ARR of $6 million for just 4 countries. And we are rapidly growing. We have more than 3 consumer packaged goods brands in our pipeline in 3 additional countries in the last 4 months. We are excited that our customers are finding us as we have spent $0 in marketing to date. We look to our global customers to capture this $62.5 billion smart retail solution. Our vision is to help retailers and brands digitize retail spaces so that they can provide innovative omni-channel experiences. We are reshaping physical retail in real time. If you want to fix this $634 billion problem and augment the largest workforce globally, connect with us today. Thank you.
Well, hey, Eunice, thanks for that. Maybe 2 questions. One is, how does this compare to something like Trax in terms of the underlying solution as well as the problem space that you're addressing? And 2, it sounds like you have some customers live, and you talked about potential ARR, but always good to also know what is the real ARR right now, and maybe a bit about how you price and how value is a single customer for you. Are these large contracts, or how should we see that?
Yep, so great questions. Let me answer the first one. How are we compared to Trax? So we have surveyed all of our customers who we are currently working with. Someone like Friesland, for example, they are using Trax in other countries, and including Unilever and Kellogg's. And the consistent feedback we're getting is that Trax is much slower compared to us in terms of deployment. So firstly, we can deploy with a customer in less than 3 weeks. And in terms of training, we only take a 45-minute online training with the merchandisers, and our app is super easy to use, versus Trax that takes 3 to 6 months just to deploy and set up. 2 is we are 3 times more cost competitive compared to Trax. And the third point is that we don't just collect shelf data, we also do price scans, and we also surface omni-channel, which is online data, in a single dashboard for our clients. So they really appreciate this, as they now can just use one solution instead of going through many vendors to get online and offline merchandising information.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then on the second part, I think with regards to pricing, Kellogg's, for example, in a single country like Singapore, how we charge our business model is consumption-based. So the number of pictures essentially they take. So it's a function of the frequency of the audit, the numbers of stores, and also the number of products they track, right? So for Kellogg's, in just one product category like cereal in Singapore with only 300 plus stores, the contract size is about 40 to 50,000 ARR. For someone like Nestle in Malaysia, who sell over 21,000 stores and over 8 product categories, that contract size is over $1 million a year. So that is, if I benchmark Nestle with like someone like J&J, for example, that is the typical contract size for markets like Malaysia, Indonesia.
Okay.
Hi, Eunice. Thanks for the presentation. Can you talk a little bit? It's actually a related question to Peter's. Can you talk a little bit more about your sales cycle and you know, in terms of the overall process, right? And you know, so far, you know, has it been POCs, and then are they converting? Are you, you know, now doing more product categories, right? More SKUs?
Yeah, it's a great question. We literally launched beta 2 months ago, and we have 4 pilots. And Kellogg's have gone live for 3 weeks. Friesland has gone live 2 weeks in Hong Kong, 100% remote deployment. We are converting Kellogg's into sales contract next month. So that's where we are. And in terms of sales cycle, so far we're super, I think we're super fortunate. I think with COVID, and when we show our sales cycle seems to be much shorter compared to a typical enterprise sales cycle, where I usually just do a cold call on LinkedIn. And after the first meeting with various stakeholders, like the managing director of the country and the sales and operations team, by the second call, I would get a pilot. So I would say that from cold call to pilot, typically it's less than 1 month. So far, that has been our record. And then sales is usually after a 1 month pilot. So that's what we have been doing. And in terms of category, we have gone live with cereal. We are now in beverage and in 2 countries. So the next category for Nestle would be in 2 to 3 product categories in Malaysia. Yeah.
Thanks. And just a quick follow-up, are those paid pilots or are they free trials?
Yeah, so they are free trials.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You know, I have the same question as Peter. I think Trax has been the known company in this space, and they shifted from being putting the camera on a robot to now they're going to fixed cameras. And same thing with Reflexes, which Zebra bought. They actually using the mobile devices. So what is your operational aspect? Do you expect sales associates to kind of capture these images, or are you paying some customers to do it? I think there are different models in the market, so we'd like to understand your operational side.
Yep, great questions. I'm happy you asked. We are different to Trax in that aspect too. So we don't send human bodies to collect these pictures for us. Trax has worked with the various third-party vendors to get shoppers to take the pictures. We put our software in the hands of merchandisers, right? So Kellogg's would have hired a third-party merchandiser to merchandise the products. So today, these merchandisers are using our software to capture pictures on the shelf. So we don't actually collect the pictures ourselves.
Going on to our next one. So we have Zetras from Thailand. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but welcome. Please introduce yourself and feel free to start your pitch. You have 6 minutes and I will give you a 1 minute warning.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Parajit, CEO and co-founder Zetras. My background is I graduated PhD in computer vision. I have been working for AI technology for more than 20 plus years. I used to work in Singapore in Institute for Infocom Research. At that part, I work on how to commercialize AI technologies to the market. And then I work for True Corporation, Telco in Thailand on innovation part. I also work for electronic government agency for the innovation part as well. You can see that my background is I'm strongly on doing the innovation and digital transformation in our private company and government part, and I can see a lot of problems in there. So I quite understand the business flow that we have problem in both government and private sectors. My CTO is Dr. Ittipan Metaset. He graduated PhD in Thai OCR and machine learning, and has been working for more than 20 plus years on Thai OCR and machine learning and natural language processing at NECTech Thailand and Research Institute by government. And now he quit to work on the Zetras. What Zetras did, we found that a lot of companies now trying to transform their workflow into the digital part and make it fast, make it cheap, make it efficient. But there's one very painful bottleneck, that is manual re-entry to input the data from paper or image into that system. Every time there is a communication between 2 organizations, there are always missing link that they cannot pass through the data easily, and they always pass through the paper. Many companies try to use OCR or optical character recognition to help them to key in and manually entry this data into the system. But unfortunately, that traditional OCR was not designed to do so. Traditional OCR designed to transform the image into text. So many OCR can do it very effectively on the printed. But to convert from image to text doesn't mean that they understand what those words mean. And so they cannot select the words or keywords to put into the field that they want to key in. So normally when you want to key in this technology, you need two parts. First, you need OCR to convert from image to digital. And you also need a template to understand the meaning of this word and put into the field. That's why previously template, fixed image and fixed forms to know the location of it and select it to put into the system. But C-Trust OCR was designed differently. We designed based on the assumption that what if the documents come in with various forms generated by different individuals, but they share the same key common value. We call it semi-structured documents. For example, invoice, PO, always come from different suppliers in different image visual templates, but they share the same common logic template. You want to know who is your supplier's name, your name and location, item description, amount, date. So that's what we're looking for with our technology. Select them out and key into your ERP system. That's what C-Trust did. So we can do it with various documents to sharing the same common key value, but different visual templates by different individuals. C-Trust OCR, we very customized because compared to the other technology in the market, they either have to be on cloud or if they are on the premise, the technology was not customizable. So we developed by our own self. We can be into the firewall of our clients because many enterprise they prefer some information inside the firewall. So we doesn't have to be on the cloud. And moreover, because we generate and model it by our own self, we can change the model and customize this case fit into each enterprise. So it makes sure that each enterprise can get a machine learning and OCR technology fit into their needs. We also have our cognitive template, which can fit and various learning the documents in their system. And we are now the most accurate Thai OCR in Thailand. And then now we can reach around 93 to 95%, but to work for our enterprise grade, they need nearly 100% results. What we did, we put our module called Human in the Loop to make sure that this part, we cannot make it by AI, we pass it to human. And if it can work on AI, we put it into the result. The market is really big and we target top 6,000 companies in Thailand first. We work in various industries and we have revenue department, university and bank as our clients now. We are running rate around 30,000 USD per month and we're projecting 34,000 per month next year. This year, we now have secured 100,000 USD and we have proposed 850,000 USD and waiting for confirmation. We had just been invested by Government Savings Bank and Stock Exchange of Thailand in this April at 500,000 USD from Invest Venture. And we're looking for Series A, 750,000 in 12 months. Here's our technology stack. Now we are based on AWS. We use TensorFlow, MLflow, PyTorch, Jupyter, and we also use database on MySQL and SQL admin, and we use Google Analytics, and we use PHP as a main for the interface. So here's our C-Trust. Hopefully we can work and digitize documents paper in our enterprise. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we've got time for a couple of questions. Ravi, did you want to go first?
Okay. So in the OCR world, I think the printed things are easily recognized. Do you recognize handwriting?
We have the handwriting in our lab, but we're focusing on printed because on printed in English is easy and in Thai also easy, but to understand the meaning and make sure that you OCR 100% to make sure that you understand the meaning is quite difficult. So we use other than information for the NLP, the words. We use visual information to indicate what the meaning of that words. Okay, I would say that to do the OCR, to digitize to the text, now on printed is easy, but to understand the meaning and what field we need to put, because what we are giving the service is we reading and we select the keywords and put into the field and export as a JSON. So prepare the database for the part of papers for our clients.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Bala, question? Okay, so next we have Abivin from Vietnam. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself and start with your pitch. You have 6 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Cassie, COO and co-founder at Abivin. So thanks for having me today. Abivin, we are a SaaS company that helps enterprise save logistic costs, automate manual processes, and improve the end-to-end supply chain visibility. Okay, we target at Southeast Asia market, and we noticed that Southeast Asia is very potential and mostly untapped, with a value of about $9.6 billion, growing at 10% annually, with more than 80 million commercial vehicles. And despite its potential, logistic execution across Southeast Asia is still very manual and experience a lot of pain points like high operating costs due to inefficient planning. And most of the companies still rely heavily on human experience in making logistic plans manually on papers, on maps or spreadsheets. And the worst part is that they have zero visibility over their supply chain operations. Understanding these pain points, Abivin built an AI-powered logistic optimization platform, and our transportation management module helps customers save costs by digitizing the manual processes. But the key component that sets us apart from others is our proprietary route optimization algorithms, which can assist human beings in making complex planning decisions automatically. And as you may know, that transport planners struggle daily making delivery plan manually for thousands of delivery orders across multiple different type of vehicles daily and with different sets of constraints, which is very time consuming and very inefficient. And some companies have been trying other open source or even paid tools out there, but those services are very limited to only a few basic parameters. However, with our algorithms, we are able to solve more than 30 different parameters for them, including very complicated conditions such as load planning, multiple transportation modes, or road constraints or traffic. And here's a case study showing that a dozen companies already save up to 30% on logistics with our technology. We help customers shows that we reduce the number of vehicles needed to deliver the same amount of orders, reduce the working times for the dispatchers, for the accountants, and automate the end-to-end operations. Our services right now are used by companies in 5 main sectors of the supply chain, including the port operators or container operators, the manufacturers, distributors, retailers, logistics service providers, and carriers. And Abivin platform support various delivery models for customers in each leg of the value chain with the specialized industries like FMCG, CPG, home appliance, and building materials. Next. Right now, our customers We are delivering success for customers, including multinational companies across Southeast Asia and the leading enterprise in Vietnam, like Saigon Newport, the largest port in Vietnam, or Coticons, the one who built the tallest building in Southeast Asia, and also some of the SMEs group. Our customers overall love that we help them save logistic costs over time, increase up to 30% of delivery capacity, and improve the end-to-end supply chain visibility with a proven ROI of about 2.5 over 3 years. And our business models is enterprise SaaS, where we charge the professional service fees and the ongoing license fees per user or per transaction for the clients. Currently, our platform is processing more than 75,000 container shipments per month and across about 300,000 of delivery orders with more than 45 enterprise accounts in 4 countries, including Vietnam, Singapore, Myanmar, and Indonesia. And thanks to that, we've been recognized in multiple awards at global scales, including the champion at Startup World Cup in Silicon Valley and the best logistic and supply chain startup in ASEAN. And we are also well integrated with major ERP system. And behind the scene are our founding teams, include alumni from Cambridge, Google, and Yahoo, bringing their strong technical backgrounds in algorithms and machine learning, combined with myself with extensive experience in enterprise software business development. And besides that, we are backed by the government-funded innovation programs and global VCs from Vietnam, South Korea, and the US. And thank you very much for your attention. And please feel free to let me know if you have any questions about everything.
Hey, thank you so much for the presentation. Very insightful. Would love to understand a bit better. You talked about professional services and recurring revenue. What is roughly the mix and what is the scale of the business right now? It would be good to understand, like the mix percentage-wise. Perhaps is it like 80% professional services and 20% product, or maybe that's can give a bit of a range.
So currently, like now, during the past quarter, is about like 65% or to 70% are professional service.
Okay.
For the current rate, and we are targeting towards more increasing the recurring license fees. Okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much. All right, Manish.
Hi, thanks, Phong. Quick 2 questions. Do you license the maps and the route that you use? Any third-party data that you're licensing?
Your question is whether we use the map license from others, or
yes,
do you mean
yes.
like? Yes, we do have some maps partners, and 80% of their mapping we leverage are based on Google Maps. And we also use other mapping solution providers like OpenStreetMaps and so on, depending on the type of service. But we do have a list of mapping vendors.
Thanks, everyone. All right, you can drop off the call now. That's all we've got time for.
Okay.
Thanks for your pitch.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone, we have our next startup. The next startup is Tukitaki from Singapore. So if you could just please introduce yourself and start your pitch. You have 6 minutes, and I'll give you a 1-minute warning.
Sure. Hi. Okay. Thanks. So yeah, as Tukitaki stands for those who are intrigued by the name, it stands for hide and seek. So that's what we do: find hidden patterns within the data that we have. And our objective is to make world a safer place through advanced regulatory compliance technologies. So quick introduction about Tukitaki. We are a leading RegTech company, and we have solutions around anti-money laundering suite, federated financial crime, and reconciliation suite. And we are quite proud to say that we are the only AI-based AML platform to be implemented and running in production consistently over the last year or so. And we have implemented this across the 3 different geographies to establish the maturity of our platform. And all of these platforms are powered by our machine learning analytics layer, which is called Tukitaki Data Science Studios. And these are some of the recognitions that you see. So in terms of the team, the founding member, Abhishek, who is comes from a banking JP Morgan kind of background and worked with DoubleClick Google. So both a good combination of financial as well as technology kind of thing imbibed within that. And Geeta as well, who comes from very strong marketing operations kind of background. And all of the founding member backed by a very strong management team coming with diverse background from the McKinsey's and startup ecosystem to LinkedIn and IBM FinCrime. So yeah, that's the team that we are proud of. So what is the problem that we are solving, right? Currently, the current AML systems that are there are very siloed, static, rule-based systems that are there, and it is not able to detect the complex money laundering cases that are coming. And we have a regulatory regulation which keeps changing, as well as the customer behavior, which is very dynamic now in these times, where a lot of e-wallets and digital payments have come into play. So the current systems not being able to cope up as fast with that, and hence we have a lot of undetected money laundering cases causing a lot of fines, a huge amount of false positives, leading to high compliance cost and AML risk effectively, right? So because of that, I mean, the trend is that the cost of compliance is kind of going up over 10% from bank spend year on year and 50% on a CAGR growth. So what we want to do is to bring sustainable compliance and not to just add people and bodies to solve the compliance problem. So how do we do that? So our platform, again, as I said, is the only AML-based analytics platform, which is fully on production in terms of alerts management for transaction monitoring and screening. So our alert anti-money laundering suite called the AMLS, which contains transaction monitoring, smart screening, as well as customer risk scoring as the key platforms within that. And we work on top of the primary platforms. We don't rip and replace existing platforms to basically bring productivity and identify suspicious cases and bring productivity by 40 to 60% from that perspective. So in terms of what we are changing in the way that we are bringing in terms of the solution is faster time to deployment. We bring prepackaged models and indicators. There are about 5,000 money laundering patterns, behaviors, indicators that we have identified, which comes prepackaged. The ROI is assured on an ongoing basis and not just on a as of now basis. And it is a typology repository that is a very powerful tool for the entire industry and ecosystem. So our platform has been implemented across the globe, multiple clients across Singapore, being UOB, Fubon, ING, all of these across the globe, and the results have been consistent to validate the platform's maturity. In terms of our revenue growth, I think we have seen a significant, consistent revenue growth, and we have a good amount of pipeline to kind of back that up. In terms of, we have followed a channel partner strategy with some of these key partners to grow and give us a hockey stick rise in our revenues. So these are some of the funding, totally about 20 million plus we have raised in funding, and we are at Series A that we closed last November. We are looking at 30 to 40 million in Series B by early 2022. This is our tech stack. So based on big data, Hadoop setup at the lowest level, and then our machine learning layer sits on top of that, and the topmost layer is the smart applications which sit on top, which is agnostic to any of the layers below that. So just to conclude, in terms of what is unique to us, so we combine the power of automated machine learning along with the typology repository, which is the collective domain intelligence that we bring together. So we are not just bringing AI technology, combining that the typology repository, which is the collective industry experience along with that, which is a federated learning-based AI engine, which is for the entire ecosystem that we are bringing, not just for one bank solution that we are bringing. And it is topped with a XAI explainability of our AI framework, which makes it fully explainable. And there is a patent pending that we have filed on our XAI framework. So that makes us totally. Yeah, sure. That makes us totally unique in terms of the solution that we bring onto the table. And hence, our objective is to fight financial crimes through our technology and eventually bring in our solution to each and every financial institution to make the world a better place and get rid of the money laundering problems that we have on table. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
I'm curious to know about about your competition in each of these markets, because you are spread over a pretty large geographical area. And I'm also curious about your time to deployment for a new customer.
Sure. So for the first question, in terms of competition, yes, we have, I think, but there are a lot of regional players within US, within Europe and APAC that is there. But as I said, someone implementing this across the 3 regions is something which we have not seen. And there are a lot of complementing platforms which are there along with us, but and there are kind of handful of players around that. But the history of having this consistent result being delivered in production is what so far has not been there. There are a lot of POCs that has been happening, and banks have been trying, but that's something which we think that we have done better than that. On the second question, in terms of the time of deployment, I think because we sit on top of existing systems and we have a predefined ways in which we can connect to those of the likes of Actimize or Oracle SaaS and the SaaS of the world, we can do a quick integration on top of existing platform and show efficiencies. The second is we have prepackaged set of models, so we don't go to the bank and build custom models. We overlay the data on the pre-built model that we have and kind of do it. So effectively, it ranges between 3 to 6 months kind of time frame.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Maybe a quick follow-up question on that. You guys, I think, launched in 2014. On one of the slides, you talked about customers. Are there 3 customers live and 3 in pilot right now? Is that
yeah? Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So just I have another question, but just to your answer to the Peter's question, you said 3 customers. What is your revenue run rate right now on that?
So our current is close to 2 million plus in terms of the recurring revenue that is going.
And what's your pricing model?
So we do on a fixed annual license kind of thing. So there is and where we bundle everything together into a single cost and not a AMC kind of thing. And we have a upfront implementation cost on top of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sagar. That was great.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and drop off now. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
So next pitch, we have LifeTrack Medical Systems from Singapore. So please go ahead, introduce yourself and start your pitch. You'll have 6 minutes and I will give you a 1-minute warning.
Thanks, Emily. Hi, everyone. My name is Carl Ng. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of LifeTrack. So let me just make a quick introduction of our company. LifeTrack is a health technology company founded in the Philippines, now headquartered in Singapore to support our international growth. We have customers in 12 countries across Asia, North America, Europe, and Africa. And the problem we want to attack is massive. It's helping provide or enable affordable access to medical imaging for over 5 billion people around the world who can't even get a basic X-ray currently. So let's start with why medical imaging is important. As you can see, it allows for intervention early to improve patient outcomes and reducing the cost for the healthcare system overall, as well as improving the patient's prognosis. And what we see as the main constraint here is the scarcity of radiologists, especially in emerging markets such as Southeast Asia, which is where we work in. There's about 1 radiologist for every 100,000 people compared to developed countries like the US or the UK or Canada. And this is why there's such a dearth of access to radiology or medical imaging. So our product is targeted at helping radiologists be more efficient and reach more patients using technology. So taking a typical healthcare provider group that's stuck using legacy technology, what we see in emerging markets is that the radiologists are forced to show up physically at every site and that they have expensive server hosted software at every site, and that the radiologists, because they're so scarce, are wasting time in traffic traveling between the different sites every day. So what we do is we replace that with our LifeSys platform, which enables us to do it on a hybrid cloud model. we host it. We host the product dually on the cloud and on an on-site server if required by the customer to make sure that there's redundancy in case there's any internet outages. And what this allows our customers to do, which are the healthcare providers, is that now they can have radiologists that are all working offsite and provide diagnostic services for the entire network. And we can even now start removing the radiologists from having to be on-site in these facilities. And so that allows the radiologists to reach more patients, to focus on diagnosing patients rather than being stuck in traffic or traveling between clinics and hospitals. And that helps unlock the efficiencies of scale for these healthcare providers, as well as offering the radiologists improved tools in order to make them more efficient in diagnosing up to 5 times more patients in the same amount of time. Because we built our product to scale, we can replicate this distributed enterprise model for radiology globally. So currently, every day, hundreds of medical facilities are securely sending their medical images up our cloud servers. We have cloud servers in multiple regions around the world, hosted on many different cloud providers. We receive hundreds of thousands of DICOM images, which is standard for medical imaging, daily, and we have the ability to scale infinitely for our customers' requirements. And what that means is that we have the ability to support hundreds of thousands of concurrent user accounts worldwide using consumer-grade hardware only. Everyone logs on to LifeSys using Google Chrome, which has the highest level of encryption. And this also eliminates the need for VPNs and application installations and maintenance, further cutting the cost of adopting our technology for healthcare providers. Finally, we also support standards-based HL7 integration with other third-party applications, which allows for a seamless digital workflow in the healthcare provider environment. Because of this, we've been able to help diagnose over 1.7 million patients around the world since launching our product at the end of 2016. Our product has been adopted by large healthcare groups and public health partners around the world, and our partners, which are the heads of medical imaging or the chief medical officers of these groups, are extremely happy with the results we're able to provide them. So that includes helping them improve the turnaround time and diagnosis of patients from longer than 2 days to a day or less, or to less than an hour, and also to helping them expand their healthcare network, knowing that radiologists will always be available to provide diagnoses for patients, and being able to do it within 15 minutes and offering an improved patient experience in that way. We've been recognized globally for our innovation and impact, and have also passed rigorous regulatory hurdles in the space, such as the FDA certification and CE mark for the European Union. And last year, we raised our Series A to support our growth from impact-focused and industry investors. So you can see here that Philips, which is one of the major producers of medical imaging devices globally, is one of our key investors. And finally, with that Series A, we've put in place an experienced management team to scale LifeTrack up with strong industry and functional expertise, led by our CEO and founder, Dr. Eric Schultz, who is a serial entrepreneur as well as being a practicing radiologist, and who saw the opportunity to provide an improved, modern radiology software when he moved from the United States to the Philippines 15 years ago. So thank you for allowing us to present, and I'm happy to take any questions you have now.
Hi, Carl. Thanks for the presentation. I'm not sure if I missed it, but could you talk about your business model? Is it a subscription, or do you charge per image, or how does it work?
We offer 2 models. We either charge per patient study that's sent to us by our customers, or particularly for public health contracts where it's an upfront CapEx type of bid. We charge a kind of monthly subscription value for the number of devices that they send images from, and then just multiply it by the number of months that the contract needs to be set at. So we offer both options to our customers.
I see. And would the subscription be on an annual basis then? Is it an annual contract?
It's a 3-year contract. We've also gone up to 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hey, Carl, so do you also make these radiology images available to the inpatient, or is it just with the hospital and the hospital manages the relationship with the patient?
The hospital manages the relationship with the patient. We do allow the creation of infinite numbers of user IDs. So if they want to give the patient access, they can, and that's part of the flexibility and the patented architecture of our product.
And if that is the architecture, would a patient have multiple IDs if they are working with multiple hospitals, or
yeah,
does the architecture?
The licensing is managed on the provider side, so it's the provider is the one that manages patient access, and we don't mix the data from different providers together.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your pitch. You can feel free to drop off the call now. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Okay. So next we have PacketWorks from the Philippines. If you could please go ahead and introduce yourself and start your pitch. You will have 6 minutes.
Okay, I'll start now. I'm Arnold Bagabaldo, the founder and CEO of PacketWorks. I have an MBA, 30 years in the tech and telco industry. I founded a telco business in US that owned 31% of the voice traffic from US to Philippines. I'm one of the pioneers in the BPO industry in the Philippines, and with one successful exit. CK is our COO. She has 20 years experience in operations across different industries, which is critical to our business. Raisa is our CMO. She's our youngest. She has 12 years experience in the telco industry in the fields of marketing, product management, legal, and business development. There's a McKinsey study indicating that linking the physical and digital worlds could generate up to $11.1 trillion a year in economic value by 2025. Now, linking the physical and digital worlds is exactly what IoT, or Internet of Things, and PacketWorks is all about. We make devices, low-power devices, and connect them using our own wireless network. This enables companies to utilize the data and fuel AI analytics and digital transformation, which in turn increases their productivity, efficiency, and allows them to offer new products and services. You could consider PacketWorks as a B2B2B company. We don't deal directly with end users. We work with partners and system integrators. These are major telcos and utility companies. So we help them package our devices and connectivity into a productized offering, which they can turn around and offer to their clients. Major use cases of this are electric meters, connected electric meters, water meters, security and smoke sensors, people counters, environmental sensors, and the like. We've been around for 2 years. Majority of this time is spent in developing products and expanding our network coverage. So a lot of the revenue that you see here represents POCs and pilots with our large customers. The contracts are pretty large, and it takes time for them to mature from pilots to actual commercial deployments. The 720,000 that you see here represents one of the contracts maturing and transitioning from pilot to actual commercial deployment this year. We've raised $1.2 million so far. 85% of this money came from our partners and system integrators who actually are buying our products and services. We are looking at 1.5 million additional investment this year, and 69% of this goes to our infrastructure and R&D. In fact, we're under due diligence from a partner utility company where we expect over 14 million of subscription revenue in the next 10 years from them. Although PacketWorks is the first and only LP1 connectivity provider in the Philippines, we recognize that startups need to be able to adapt to market conditions and be able to pivot effectively and efficiently. To address this, we design and develop devices in a record turnaround time, 45 to 60 days. And in fact, we've developed over 30 devices, 5 of which are already in the process of being patented. So not only on device development, but since we're in the telco industry as well, we're a telco play as well. It is important. It's important for a telco business to be able to reduce OPEX. It's chicken or the egg. Either you have subscribers or you have large coverage. So we do this by partnering with enterprises. We reduce the partner enterprises provide the space, connectivity, and power for free in exchange for some sensors that they can use. To reduce in a startup, product market fit is also important. So what we do is we partner with telcos and utility companies and enable them to develop products and offerings with them to offer to their client base. This reduces cost, acquisition cost, accelerates our time to market, and reduces our exposure. And that's Packetworks. Thank you.
Hi, Arnold.
Hello.
I just want to understand, what's your revenue model?
Currently, we get our revenue from device sales and subscription, connectivity subscription. On device sales, our clients pay us 60% when they order in quantities, and then they pay 40% when we deliver the devices. And then connectivity is paid per annum per device. This is like telco, like cellular connectivity. So there's 2 parts on it.
Thank you.
Hi, Arnold.
Hello.
Thanks for the presentation. Can you talk about, what's the thought process behind building and devising your own IoT products versus really partnering with other IoT companies, right? Or like you mentioned, the utility companies to develop, so you provide the tech layer, right? Instead of actually producing the devices.
We produce the device to a limited extent. We have in-house capability in manufacturing small quantities of devices. We have our own pick-and-place machine, 3D printers, and reflow oven. We have the capability of producing 200 IoT devices an hour if needed. So we do this because in an early stage technology, which IoT is, clients don't really know what they need yet. There's a lot of fine-tuning in terms of products and stuff like that. And by bringing it in-house, we're able to react to these changes quite quickly. If we order devices from other vendors or have it manufactured outside, there's quantity required, and we end up with putting a lot of our money into inventory instead of making it work for us.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. I think that's unfortunately all we have time for. But thank you so much for your pitch. That was great. You can feel free to jump off the call now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So next we have Ricolt from Thailand. So if you could just please introduce yourself and start your pitch, you'll have 6 minutes.
Super. So hello, my name is Usman Javed. I represent Ricolt. Ricolt is a startup which operates in Pakistan and Thailand. And I don't think my colleague has been able to enter the room, but anyway, I'll just go ahead regardless. I'm Usman Javed. I'm the CEO of Ricolt, and I have extensive experience working in the agricultural sector in Pakistan and other countries. My colleague, or my founding team members include Jonathan Stoller, who is our CTO, and he's a computer scientist from MIT. Ukrit Unahalahaka, who's our CEO in Thailand, he's also from MIT. And Gabriel Torres, who's our Chief Strategy Officer, who's also from MIT. So Ricolt is a startup that was founded by MIT graduates back in 2015. And the key thing about our team is that we have a multidisciplinary team which has cross-functional experience in a lot of different spaces, including agronomy, image processing, meteorology, commodity financing. We have experience in telecom and on-ground community building, and also global and local operations. In short, Recult is an integrated digital platform that helps farmers connect with services. It sources data from multiple sources, analyzes the data through its AI and machine learning software, and then generates actionable insights that help farmers and the entire agricultural ecosystem to benefit and increase yields and revenue. The key problem that we're trying to address primarily relates to the farmers being unable to access capital and information. Just to share a few numbers, 75% of the world's poor are farmers. There's a $450 billion gap between agricultural credit demand and supply, and there is no focus on total solutions to address the need of Asians farmers. Similarly, for businesses, there is no data solution available that connects with the farmers. So what we see in essence is a huge information and capital asymmetry, where farmers who need capital and information are starved of that because of the lack of processes, systems, and an exploitative model which prevents them from getting this information. Our current customers are banks, crop processing mills, crop insurance, and telecom companies. So the way we work is that we source data from farmers, like their crop type, their farms types, and we then, once we have that information, we run it through our AI-based platform, which we've completely developed in-house. The AI platform analyzes and processes that data and then generates actionable insights for multiple customers like banks, crop processing mills, crop insurance, and telecom companies. So just to give you a use case, some of the key customers that we're working with in Thailand, like Katish Sugar Mills, they are working with us to help them predict the yield of sugar based on our sugarcane analysis. And similarly, there are a couple of other mills and banks who are using us to not only predict yield, but also to monitor farm growth and farmer performance. So another use case is a bank, where a bank might want to know how is the portfolio that they're managing operating in agronomy terms. So we help them monitor that portfolio and help them reduce the risk of crop failure, because we give them information that allows them to timely intervene in the in case of a particular crop failure. Similarly, we work with crop insurance companies, where we're helping automate crop insurance companies with the process of assessing loss. So through our satellite imagery, we monitor the farm, and if a farmer has lost his crop, we can automatically see that through our satellite imagery model and let the crop insurance companies know that this guy has a problem with his farm, so he is entitled to an insurance claim. Our annual recurring revenue is around $250,000. Our current run rate is around $30,000 per month.
1 minute warning.
Okay, and our projected run rate is around $70,000 per month, which means that in the next 12 months, we're aiming to hit around $840,000 based on the contracts that we've just generated. We did a seed round, $2.5 million, a pre-series round, and now we're planning to do a Series A in 18 months. And our current stack includes Ionic, Firebase, Flask, MySQL, MongoDB, and AWS. We are going to apply for possible IP in 2 areas: farm anomalies and crop type detection, statistical and analytical models that we've both developed in-house. So that's it from my side. Happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for the presentation. So my question is related to: do you see regional variations across different countries for your technology to be used? And if so, how are you accounting in your platform for that?
So the good thing about our model is that once we built the model, then there are not a lot of variations. You just need to change a few variables, and the model can be adapted to a particular country. So the changes are very, very minor.
Okay, so the other question is, in terms of the soil quality testing, do you look at only the macro level nutrients, NPK kind of tests, or do you do anything beyond that as well?
No, currently we're just focusing on the NPK macronutrient testing, which allows us enough information to build accurate models. However, in future, that is a plan that we will go for micronutrients as well.
And my last question is, do you expect the farmers to actually do the soil testing or give you the data, or do you have local facilitators type of network to get the soil testing done?
So it's both. There are certain banks or organizations that have a field team that assist the farmer to do the soil testing. But in cases where the farmer has already done his soil testing, he just needs to upload the results into our farmer app. Okay,
thank you.
All right, we've got one last question. Ravi, you were waiting. Prajit, if we have time for you, we will get to you. But anyone who has a hard stop and needs to drop off, please feel free to do so. Ravi?
Sure. Yes, thank you for the presentation. So wondering, there is a big need in the industry for the traceability. So are you addressing that use case? Like some farmer claims that, hey, I'm producing organic cotton. How do you assure that, hey, it is truly organic cotton to the retailers and to the brands as a use case? Are you focusing on that, or plans to do that?
Yeah, we definitely have plans to do that. We've done that in some cases, but it varies from crop to crop. So for WWF, that is one of the projects that we are working on, where we're helping traceability for farmers who have who are working with us. However, that is not available for all the crops at the moment.
Thank you.
Okay, quick last one from Prajit, and then we'll have to close it out.
Okay, great presentation, and thank you for that. Just a quick one. In terms of the type of crops, you've said that you're empowering all the farmers, but is there any particular areas that you're looking at in terms of dairy or tea? I know you said you're working with the factories and collecting information to them, but how is your product in terms of tweaking towards, like, let's say, from tea to coconut to dairy to sugar?
So that's a great question. It depends on the model and the problem that we're trying to solve for that particular customer. So currently we're working with cassava, we're working with sugarcane, we're working with rice, and we're working with pineapple and rubber in Thailand. However, there are certain customers which do not require, let's say, yield analysis or farm anomaly, but they require, let's say, monitoring of farms for crop insurance. So in that case, we really don't need to have a crop specific model. It can be a general model. But let's say if I want to do crop yields, then I will have to develop a new model for every crop. I'll need all the data sets, and then I will build that model. Or if it's a crop anomaly model, then again, I'll have to do the whole crop-wise process. So it depends on what problem the customer wants us to solve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Usman. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'll get you to jump off the call now. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We will have 11 startups pitch in this session. And the first one is Alice Labs from Bangladesh. We have Shubho Rahman. Shubho, you have 6 minutes. At minute 5, I will let you know there's 1 minute, followed by 4 minutes of Q&A.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for coming here. So I'm Shubho, founder and CEO of Alice, and we are on a mission to democratize the whole customer support with conversational AI. So it all started with one of my personal experience. Back in 2018, I had to call my bank to increase the limit on my credit card, but I was kept in waiting line. Nobody wants to be in the waiting line. So it took 5 minutes for the agent to take my call, and when they took my call, they asked a few questions, and I kept them explaining the whole situation, and suddenly my call dropped. So again, I had to call back. I had to be in the waiting line, and I can totally remember it took me 30 minutes to just resolve the situation. And from my perspective, a customer perspective, this was very, very bad experience. And after a month, I went back to Myanmar, and then I had the similar situation, and I couldn't even call the customer support. I mailed them, I knocked them in their Facebook, but they did not reply. So I'm sure a similar situation had happened with most of you. So I did some research, and I found out that almost each year, $75 billion are wasted in customer support for their poor service. But if you look at the new generation people, the Gen Z and millennials, they have a very little attention span, average 8 to 12 seconds. So they need to know things as fast as they want. And they also come from different channels, like, the rise of social media and messaging channels have made this very complicated for the businesses. So 86% people actually expect their conversation with agent to move seamlessly, but 90% companies do not acknowledge their customer in a timely manner. So from a business perspective, they're losing their business, they're losing their brand, and they're also losing a huge chunk of money on their customer support. So that's where Alice basically comes in. Alice is a SaaS-based omni-channel customer support platform. Our platform helps the business to manage and also automate their customer-facing channels into one single platform. So whatever messaging channels or communication channels you have, you can plug into Alice. Alice will automate majority of this from their channels, and then it can hand over the rest that are most important to the agent, and agent can manage all into one single window. We have been working in last 2 years with a lots of customer-facing companies, big companies like Unilever, Ooredoo, Telenor, Coca-Cola, banks and insurances, BAT, and we actually help them to reduce their support costs by 33%, to increase their sales by automating majority of their queries, and also it doesn't stop there, it also increases their customer satisfaction rate. If you look at the conversational AI market, it's a highly growing market with 4.8 billion now, and with a growth CAGR of 22%. And we are mostly focused on the Southeast Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East market for the conversational AI. When we connect with a business, we have basically two pricing model. One is the one-time integration fee that we take with the high volume businesses. So for example, if it's a bank, we need to connect it with their core banking software. So for that reason, we take a one-time integration fee. And if it's a common solution like HubSpot or Salesforce, we have already those integrations created into our backend. And then the monthly recurring fee depends on the monthly active user actually. So whenever we started in 2019, we had almost $100,000 in revenue, and in this year, till October, we almost had 300,000 revenue, which is 3 times more than what we had in 2019. With very low churn rate, low customer acquisition cost, and high customer lifetime value, we have ensured a stable MRR so far. Our go-to-market strategy depends on 3 pillars. We work with implementation partner who helps us to join hands to get to their clients. And then there are resellers who works in different markets, like Huawei basically sells in the APAC region, Digicon in Bangladesh, Nipuna Sheva in Nepal, Skyrocket in Philippines, and Config Airbot in the US market. And we also have the developer portal to make sure that we build a marketplace so that it can scale up a lot faster. If you think about the similar companies and the differentiation of Alice, lots of companies offers conversational AI, but they are focused into different verticals. But what Alice does is to integrate everything into one single place. So from a business perspective, we don't need to use a lot of other softwares. This is our team. So I'm Shuvo. I'm the CEO of Alice. I have the background from a technical perspective. Before starting my own company, I was the tech lead of a health tech company who was in the Google Launchpad. And I was focused in machine learning and AI. And my partner, Munim, he was the managing director of one of Rocket Internet portfolio. So he has a huge background of enterprise connections and also different telcos and banks. So he helps to raise the sales and other partnership as well. So we are a bootstrap company so far, and we are looking for raising 500. Yeah.
Sorry, 1 minute.
Yeah, we are a bootstrap company so far. So all of our revenues that are coming in is basically from our own bootstrapping. We are currently looking to raise $500,000 in a safe method with 3 million valuation cap. So we want to, though we are a revenue positive company, our MRR is currently $15,000 and burn rate is $12,000. So we are a revenue positive country, but we want to expand into a few other regions very quickly to grab those markets. That's why we are looking to raise $500,000. And that will be mostly spent on the marketing and hiring talent. We are also looking for one C-level executive as well. So I think that's it. That's more or less gives the background of our company and also what we are doing and how we are want to expanding into these regions. So I will give it up to the QA right now.
Hey, my question is, I've seen many conversational AI chatbots and solutions. What makes you truly unique?
Okay, so yeah, that's also something that we have experienced. So initially when we started, we also felt that there are lots of companies. So what we did was to make sure that the customer experience remains seamless. So that's why we built the solution on not only chatbot, but also all the agent support they require. So it can have a very smooth transition between a human agent and chatbot, making sure the experience is there. And now as we are growing, we want to be only focused on the e-commerce sector because the sector is very big, that's scalable. And we can just integrate a lot of e-commerce solution like, as I've said, BigCommerce, Shopify, and provide immediate service to those clients. So I think one major important factor is the all the required functionalities putting together into one single platform that has so far differentiated us from other clients. And moving forward, we want to focus more on the sales, the e-commerce sector, so that it can provide differentiation into that sector.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bala. Last question, Kishan, for Shuvo.
Yeah, quick question, Shuvo. Do you track your recognition error rate?
We mostly, our core trackers are mostly depending on how much automation did we make. So the automation rate is one of our core metrics, and the second metric that we track is how is the customer experience. Always whenever a ticket is resolved or when a conversational is done, either our AI or our customer agent goes back to the customer and asks about their experience to rate in 1 or 10. So depending on these two core metrics, we are actually improving our platform.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Shuvo. That was really good, and appreciate you joining us today. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Okay.
See you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Hi, Asikul. Good morning. Hi. Welcome. Asikul is the founder of Brio Shop. Asikul, over to you to share your deck. You have 6 minutes. At minute 5, I'll let you know there's 1 minute, and then we have 3 minutes of Q&A.
Sure. Hi,
I'm Ashikul Alam Khan, founder and CEO of PrioShop.com, #1 last mile e-commerce platform in Bangladesh. The platform helps small businesses to connect with big brands such as Samsung, Unilever, P&G, and sell a wide range of authentic products to their working customer without having any inventory. Yes, without having any inventory. Our vision organized commerce by empowering MSME with technology and brand. Before I enter my business model, I love to share the Asian economic tiger, Bangladesh, the land of possibilities with highest GDP growth in Asia Pacific. Even in COVID-19, it maintains highest growth with 170 million people, where 65% people are living in rural area. However, 98 million people already connected with 3G and 4G internet, but still people love to shop from offline store. That's why e-commerce entertain less than 1%, superstore entertain 2%. That means 97% market is still in small businesses' hand. You will be surprised to know that about 66% people are you, just like this Meena and Raju. Raju loves to shop from online, but it's difficult to get delivery in last mile. On the other hand, Meena loves to shop from nearby store, but nearby store has limited capital, limited shelf, limited varieties of product, and limited access to the brand, and also lack of digitalization. For both of them, our solution, one is marketplace app, just like Lazada Singapore, for taxi people, just like Raju. And another one is retail facing app for retail agent Rofik. Now he can sell anything to everything to Meena without having any inventory. In our platform, we already have 10,000 retail agents across the country. And already we signed with 5 strategic partners who has 53,000 agents. We need to activate all of them in our platform. Here is our big impact. We help small traders become a general traders. Just like this retail agent, before PrioShop, he sold only feature phone because of lack of funding. Now he can sell a branded Samsung printer without any inventory. By this way, we digitalize his business, improve his income and playing role in SGT9. We already raised 900K from Accelerating Asia, Vancy, and SBK Tech Venture and generate 620,000 GMV per month. Yes, 620,000 GMV per month, which was 10x growth in last 4 months, and with 500,000 customers and 1,000 authorized brands and vendors. All the leading brands, you know, all of them, we help them to connect with last mile customer with our agent network. Our business model is very simple. We generate 20% margin on average from our distributor and share a certain percentage with our retail agent if he or she generate any sales from our platform. For building the next unicorn, we have a great team. Myself, Ashikul, expertise in growth hacking and e-commerce marketing with 14 years experience. For operation excellence, we have a Deepthi Mondal from telco background with 8 years experience. For scalable technology, we have a Raisul Kobir with 14 years experience. We also have Sonia Boshir Kobir as our chairperson with vision building ecosystem for million MSME. We also have some talented at Microsoft certified programmers who help us to change the retail industry with brain and keyboard. We also have a good advisory body who help us to empower MSME through technology in different sector, in technology, branding, and accounts, and also business development. Now we're looking for 3 M's and for pre-series A for building largest B2C omnichannel network, largest B2B platform for retailers, and also largest ad network for big brands. In Bangladesh, right now, 7.5 million MSME helps and contribute total GDP of 30%. And government forecasted it will be 12 million by 2025. And we want to capture 10% of this MSME market. That means 1.2 million as a network across the country and generate $1 billion GMV per month. Here's our technology stack. We use a .NET framework and a C# language as an all code from our own team. And we already have website, mobile app, ERP. ERP is an integrated solution for all our MSME. Even we also track their inventory through our ERP, and and ensure customer on-time delivery, and customer can track everything through our ERP system. And we already have IP in domain, ERP system, and website, as well as our app. So this is PrioShop. Let's build the jointly next unicorn from Southeast Asia with massively pre-built infrastructure of small businesses. Thank you so much.
We have a question from Bala.
Yeah, so Sikol, what is your, how do you manage your inventory and logistics on your side?
We collect product as consignment basis, and we also have a fulfillment center. Some big brands actually drop their product in earlier before order generate, and sometimes when order generate, the big brand drop our fulfillment center, and we pack the product and hand over to our 3PL.
Got it. And what's your credit cycle with the big brands typically?
It's usually 15 days to 30 days.
Okay. And what is the typical, do you have some sense of the delivery times that you promise, as well as what you have seen in your experience?
In urban area, it takes 48 hours maximum. And for rural area, it takes maximum 72 to 96 days. So 96 hours.
Okay. Do you think that's okay for your customers, given that there is certainly a preference to get it sooner?
Yep. Right now we're trying to establish more fulfillment center in different area and collect product from local distributors of big brands and deliver to our ultimate customers. And we also we started.
Yeah. Hence the question: what would that do to your capital raising strategy? Right, more fulfillment center involves a lot of capital, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, we raised 900K from Singapore, from Accelerating Asia, and Vansi, the oldest angel network in Southeast Asia, and also SBK Tech Venture. And by this way, we actually empower our product and acquire more agents in our network. And after that, we are looking for this pre-series A for establishing more fulfillment center and reduce the lead time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is great presentation. I appreciate that. I guess, you spoke about the pain points earlier regarding last mile delivery, etc. I'm wondering, so there are two ways to solve the problem, right? Obviously, one way you've done to set up the MSME network and go via that. The other is, let's say somebody comes in and solves the last mile delivery problem, right? They're able to really maximize and actually get the e-commerce working in urban and rural areas. How do you compete with that? I mean, the convenience of just shopping on my phone and ordering whatever I want and getting shipped in 24 hours. There'll be definitely a demographic that'll want to go to a shop and speak to a person there and get their advice, etc. But that's being replaced by the next generation, right? And that's your target audience as well. So how will you compete in that space?
Right now, we also have a marketplace app in urban area for TechCB people. TechCB people can directly place order from our marketplace app, and we delivered it within 24 hours in Dhaka and semi-urban area. And we also lead this market in second position. In rural area, people believe in people. Okay, yeah. Their trust on people more than a virtual thing. So they go to a nearby store, and nearby store owner actually helps to place an order on behalf of customers. So they guide them, and they ensure after sale service. So if anything wrong with the product, they ensure the product will delivered or replaced or return with easy and hassle free. That's why people come to the point. And also another thing, so for example, you place an order in Bangladesh, most of order comes in cash on delivery. So it's quite impossible to ensure that you always stay in your office all the time. So when rider go to your office, it's difficult to find you and collect cash from you. So what in case of PrioShop, we drop your nearby store, so you can collect your product at any convenient time. So you can place order directly from app and collect from your nearby store as well. So there's a both way we actually playing role. Even this retailer also have solid demand in FMCG product and their day-to-day product. So we also provide their B2B solution from our app. And recently we're trying to provide inventory management solution for these retailers at free of cost. So we can track their inventory and ensure their inventory always up to the mark. And after that, we will introduce PrioMart, which will ensure 10 minutes delivery in your doorstep through
sounds
freelance
fantastic.
rider. Yeah,
very interesting. Thanks.
Ashikul, could you tell me what the split between cash on delivery and advance payment is?
Right now, 30% in advance and 70% in cash on delivery, and 25% is MFS, mobile financial service, is bKash, and 5% is plastic card.
And are you seeing a change in the trend over the last 6 months or so?
Yes, during pandemic, actually, this number increased, and people now easily, willingly to pay in advance through bKash or Nagad. So the number is now increased. So we believe in coming days, the advance payment will be higher than cash on delivery.
Sorry, thank you, Ashikul. All the best, and you can log off now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashikul. Good luck. Hi, Ali Arif from FahiPay from the Maldives. You will get 6 minutes to present. At 5 minutes, I'll let you know, and you can start now.
Thank you. My name is Arif, and I'm from Maldives. I am the co-founder of FahiPay. So me and my partner, Yusuf, both we were brainstorming on a business idea. So we wanted to create something useful, and we want to create something that can grow in time. Also, we were thinking of a product that can make our life easier. So we try to figure out the issues in our community, and we try to see what we can do to make it better. So we noticed that almost everyone has a smartphone today, but still they had to go and wait in the queue to make payments that we have to do in our daily lives. And those payments were made in cash. Almost all the payments were made in cash. And due to that, when we have to make cash payments, we have a lot of payments to make. For example, mobile recharges, groceries, tuition fees, electricity, water, cable TV, a lot of bills we have to make in our daily basis. Even though slowly electronic payment methods were introduced to our country, we had to install separate application for each service provider, meaning each service provider will have their own application, and we have to install that application to make a payment, and it was very inconvenient. So we came up with a solution for that, FahiPay. FahiPay is an online payment platform offering a wide range of bill payment options and recharge options. Fahi means easy or convenient in our local language, Divehi. So basically, FahiPay is an all-in-one payment solution. So let's look into details on what we have done so far. We have a population, an estimated population of Maldives as of 400,000 people, and currently we have 50,000 registered users. So these 50,000 registered users is just 12.5% of our population. So that means we have a lot to cover. Also, Maldives, in addition to that, we have about more than 1 million tourist visits per year. So we believe that these tourists are also our possible customers. I want to highlight that with just 12.5% of the market coverage, we already process more than $10 million per year. So I think that's a good amount compared to that we only started 3 years ago and in 2017. So let's look into some details on those. We launched our application in the last quarter of 2017, and by the end of the year, we processed transactions worth $145,000. And in time, the trust and the user friendliness of the application brought a lot more customers to us day by day. So by the end of 2018, we processed $1.4 million. This is not the total we processed. This is only the amount processed in 2018. After 2018, that we have a lot of customers, more partners offered a partnership, more service providers offered partnership with us, which resulted in more services available through the application. And also we developed our application in our local language to cater a wider audience. So currently our application is available in English as well as our local application, Divehi. So in 2019, with these changes, the amount increased to $4.7 million. And currently, as of now, till today, we have, in 2020, we have processed a total of more than $9.3 million worth of payments. And our forecasts show that by the end of 2021, we will be able to reach this amount to $15 million. So, FiPay was actually developed by me and my partner only. So we catered to our customer queries and customer service handling and developing and marketing. Everything was done by both of us only. And all the developments and marketing was done through what we earned through our company's profit. So, however, we have identified so many new development options, and we need to develop and market this so that we can reach a wider audience and to generate more revenue. So far, we haven't raised any fundings, but we believe that it's time to raise some funding in order to speed up the development process of further new features and also to make it available to a wider audience. So finally, let's have a look at our tech stack. Our main application, our product is built on MySQL as our core DB, and our web pages use PHP with Node.js and of course HTTPS. And for our Android application, we use Java with Gradle, and our iOS application is built on Objective-C. So basically, this is all about our application. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thanks, Ari. This is an excellent presentation. Appreciate the pain point you're solving for. Maybe you covered it and I missed it. What's your monetization strategy? I'm assuming the services that you have on top or on the side of the payment. And that's, we'd love to hear more of that. Payments in general are raised to the bottom in something we have seen, in different places. So how do you expect to build the long-term service and a value mode, which will come in part to what you spoke about earlier, is the trust you can build in the platform. But how do you build that longer longevity for FiPay?
Actually, all our revenues are based on commission. For example, if we pay a utility, if a customer pays a utility bill through our application, the service provider will be providing a percentage to us because we are collecting the payment on behalf of them. And that is actually how we earn money, through commission for each transactional based commission. That is how currently we earn it.
Sure. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation, Arif. I just want to have a practical sense of one of the aspects that you mentioned earlier. So revenues coming from tourism in your country is a material driver of GDP, right? And you mentioned access through your platform for tourists to make payments. Can you describe how that mechanic will actually work?
Yeah, actually, our plan is to integrate their payment method with us. For example, if they have a credit card, they can just integrate, they can just enter the credit card details into our application. So whenever they are making payment, they will have they will just have to open our application and make the payment. For example, right now we have special plans for tourists, like SIM cards, for example, for for them. For just an example, when they are making payments or when they're recharging their SIM cards, they can just pay with FahiPay, or while they visit a place for dinner or just a restaurant, when they make a payment after the lunch, they can just pay with FahiPay. So that's the basic idea of our plan is to have an all-in-one payment platform. So anywhere there's money or anywhere there you have to make a payment, there is FahiPay. That's our aim, actually.
Thank you. Thanks, Dipta. Thanks, Arif, and good luck.
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for providing us this opportunity to present.
Okay, so you can log off, Arif. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we have Adrian from Myanmar, and from Village Link is the name of his startup. And you have 6 minutes to present. At minute 5, I'll let you know that it's you're at the end, and then we have some questions that we'll get from the judges. Good luck.
All right. So first of all, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving us, such an opportunity to be part of the emergeX program. My name is Adrian, and it is a pleasure to meet all of you. Village Link was founded by 2 visionaries and prominent figures in their respective fields in the country, namely Mr. Dato' Hain and Dr. Tun Thirathet, with a vision to uplift smallholder communities using mobile data and technology. Mr. Dato' Hain is the founder of Myanmar Oba. He founded the company in 1995, and it is now the largest agriculture group of companies in the country, with more than 1,300 agronomists and 16,000 sales channels across the country. Dr. Tun, on the other hand, is the technopreneur who is currently serving as the Vice President of Myanmar Computer Federation. He is also the founder of Myanmar Information Technology and an active member in the government for the Digital Economic Development Committee. And myself, I am the CEO of Village Link. Myanmar in the recent years has gone through phenomenal changes across many sectors, especially in the telecommunications. However, agriculture is unchanged for thousands of years. With traditional agricultural practices and lack of actionable guidance, our farming productivity is far behind that of our neighboring countries. Village Link is all about empowering farming communities through digital services by leveraging the high mobile device and internet penetration in the country. Our flagship app, Tratto, connects farmers to agricultural professionals, services, and products so that they can get the timely solution they need to increase their farm productivity. The main function of the app is the Q&A, where farmers can ask questions about their crops, and we have a team of agronomists that monitors the feed and provide them the solution they need. We also update farmers with localized crop prices so that no farmer in Myanmar is at a disadvantage when it comes to bargaining with dealers. And we have a variety of contents that cover different topics, from financial literacy to cultivation methods. We have also integrated our app with remote sensing capabilities, where we deliver precision farming analytics to individual farmers in Myanmar based on their geolocation, the type of crop he grows, and the season he is at. And also we have AI diagnostic tool, which is using Microsoft services, where the farmer can just scan this plant and then AI will diagnose the disease and then recommend a solution. On the other end of things, there is a lack of data in agriculture, which leaves many agribusinesses in the blind, and many of their operations are based on guessing games. Moreover, marketing and providing rural services to their customers can be time-consuming and expensive. With Tratto, we have already gathered more than 700,000 farmers in the platform, which allows agribusinesses and NGOs to easily access these audience for their campaigns. The next product that I want to introduce here is called Village Link Satellite Services. It's a cloud-based software that aggregates farmer data and satellite data such as crop, land, and weather monitoring, and then also transform them into actionable insights for our business customers. VLSS can be used to identify all the major crops grown in Myanmar and track their respective growth stages. It can also be used to measure the performance of a farmer and compare it against to his peers in the areas. VLSS synthesizes weather data as well as flood maps to predict weather-related risks for floods, droughts, and pest outbreaks down to the village administrative level all over Myanmar. For example, contract farming companies can use VLSS to remotely monitor the farms and keep track of the farming progress. Microfinance companies can use the data for de-risking their operations, as well as credit scoring models. And input supply companies can use the information for supply and demand forecasting and operational planning. So for our customers, we have, first of all, our users, which are about 732,000 farmers. All the services that we mentioned are free of charge for the farmers. The way we monetize is through the following business models: advertisements, partnerships, transactional, customer service, and data. Most of our customers are agribusinesses and NGOs, but we do have a few public sector customers as well. In terms of our financial performance, annual recurring revenue is about 54,760 for today. And for the run rate, we are at about $88,000 with a projection of 250,000 by the next year and 330,000 by 2022. As for capital, we have raised a total of 2 rounds. In the first round, back in 2017, we raised 660,000. And then back in October 2019, we raised additional 330,000. And we are expected to raise another one soon in April 2021. All funds are raised from existing founders.
1 more minute, Adrian.
Yeah. So in terms of IPs and technology, we have the following 3 IPs with the tech stacks that I have shown here. Truedo, the app that I mentioned, is in the process of being revamped into a new, scalable, and platform-friendly version. Meanwhile, we're using Microsoft Cognitive Services for our pest and disease recognition AI. And also lastly, for our VillageLink satellite services, it is currently hosted in DigitalOcean, but we have intentions to migrate to Microsoft Azure environment in the near future. So the innovation here is not about building tech products. It is about finding what the farmers need the most and delivering at the most cost-effective manner. Thank you.
Hi, Adrian. Thanks so much for the presentation. Super interesting. I guess one question I have to understand, I understand your monetization model of trying to partner with institutions and maybe brands, etc. How do you balance giving information to the farmers that's relevant and impartial versus being swayed by your customers who might have a interest in a particular product or a service?
So we look at the farmer's capacity to afford a certain solution. Some farmers, they will want to go for GAP format, while the other farmers, they have a specific brand that they want. So when it comes to recommending advisory, we usually check the farmer first if he has a preference in terms of the company that he wants to buy, and only then we push the product to that farmer. So there are passive ads that will just appear in the app, and then that app can be seen by any farmer. But in terms of specific advisory, we look at the farmer profile first before recommending something. And when they are filling the registration form, they can indicate like which companies are their favorites or their companies that they prefer. And we look at it first before we provide the solution to them.
So it's an opt-in model, basically, than an opt-out model.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And from a usage perspective, how often does, let's say, a farmer open the app? Is it a daily basis? Is it weekly, monthly? What's the usage pattern you observed?
So about 2,000 to 3,000 users will log in every day because we have special programs for daily login. So every time a farmer logs in, we give them points, which they can accumulate to exchange for lucky draw campaigns and goods and services. So they are enticed to come in and visit our platform every day. But then that's about 2,000 people, but about 17,000 people will log in every season. Because usually they have farming problems when they are in a farming season. And when they have a problem, they will come and check. And then once they have solved the problem, they will forget about the app and then they'll come back again in the next season. So depending on the user behavior, we have different clusters of customers.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Adrian, for the brilliant presentation. But I have 2 questions. One being, first, can you give us a sense of what the revenue split is by business line that you mentioned? And then second, when it comes to farmer acquisition in particular, are you going through intermediaries, or do you actually have headcount in your business who are dedicated to bringing farmers on your platform?
Okay. To your first question, in terms of revenue split, about 70% of our revenue are coming from partnerships from agribusinesses and NGOs, because they do have objectives to reach out to farmers for their programs, extension services, as well as educational programs. And because our platform has aggregated most of them already, most of the farmers in all the locations already, it gives them easy access to deliver these information to farmers. So most of our revenue today is partnerships. In terms of user acquisition, we are relying on our investor company, Alba, because Alba has the largest reach in Myanmar with 3.5 million farming customers. We are leveraging their network to help us onboard users into our platform. The Department of Agriculture, the government entity, is also helping us onboard farmers into our platform. But we do have a few staff that we station in key agriculture areas, which are also helping us with user acquisitions and trainings.
Thanks for that presentation. So my question is, obviously, the product will obviously be super useful to all these farmers when they really see, some value proposition. So I think one of the value propositions that I think is, how well this product can improve productivity, right? The yield, etc. I mean, do you have any data? I mean, have you seen productivity significantly improve? Because you said you've only had 2,000 people use it per day, right? Out of your 700,000 farmers. My second question is, I also want to know why the usage has been relatively lower than, I don't know, less than 5%, right? So.
Yeah. So like I said, the very active ones are the ones who will, come in and check the app every day for special campaigns and stuff. But in terms of the rest of the users, it's not that they are not active. They come back to the app every now and then to check when they need an information. So we're still thinking about programs that will entice them to come to our app more often. But we do have quite a huge active user base if you look at it from the monthly perspective. Could you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah. So my question is, have you seen any improvement in yield because of using the app and productivity is improving?
Yes. So we have to do surveys every week to submit to our partners and also grant companies that are funding us. So according to our surveys, of a sample of more than 3,000 or 4,000 farmers that we surveyed, they say that their farming productivity improved from 30 to 70% after using our tools.
Thank you, Adrian. Good luck, and we'll be in touch. You can log off now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Next, we have Yemat, who is the founder of Better HR for Myanmar. You'll have 6 minutes. At minute 5, I'll let you know you have 1 minute, followed by Q&A.
Great. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you. My name is Yemat. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Better HR. Well, did you know that 1 out of 5 small business owners are not confident in their HR function? Actually, among our founding team, me and 2 other co-founders started our first company called Next Steps together 8 years ago. And HR issues were our #1 headache throughout the 8 years. Dealing with payroll, making sure everything is tax compliant, ensuring everyone's benefits are well taken care of, and more. Even after spending so much time, we still realized that our employees were not engaged and they were not happy and were not productive as well. In the new normal, this problem gets even bigger. We as small business owners also need to spend time to think about business continuity and making sure that our organization functions properly while working remotely. We looked at existing solutions across the region, and unfortunately, there is no single solution offered exactly what we wanted. So being entrepreneurs, we decided to scratch our own niche. So at Better HR, what we do is basically we provide solutions and tools for business owners and HR managers to solve these kind of problems and beyond. We provide tools for small business owners and HR managers that allows businesses to properly manage teams in and out of the office, streamline HR operation processes such as taking care of attendance, leave, overtime, and also calculating payroll, which takes a lot of time. We also help companies to bring departments closer and minimize communication gaps, and allow companies to communicate with people from other businesses. Our product is centered around a self-service mobile app, which you can see on the right side of the screen. Through this app, we allow employees to take simple attendance, leave, overtime, and also receive pay slips. And more importantly, we also allow employees to communicate with each other in the same platform. But this is an interesting mix between HR and communications, because we find that actually in a workplace, communication is happening everywhere. In small businesses, communications are happening in WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, Messenger, and all these kind of different solutions. And our customers tell us that they wanted to make sure that all of the communications in one place. This is what we've exactly built out. And all of these features are available at a very simple pricing of $1.50 per employee per month. Now, there are many cloud HR software in this APAC region, such as Swingfeed, which recently raised $7 million from Samsung Ventures, HR Easily, and more. There are also bigger players like SAP, Oracle, and etc. However, we feel that our key differentiation is in 3 different things. Number 1, our software is super easy to use. Our software is used from high-tech entrepreneurs to low-tech farmers at the border of Bangladesh and Myanmar. Our software is really flexible. Our engine allows different customization options for different companies without any code customization. Moreover, later this year, we're also rolling out a no-code workflow solution so that we can really empower our users even further by allowing them to program certain features like, let's say, claims, etc., without any need for development. Lastly is our employee super app vision. We feel that Better HR is the one app that is across all of these smartphones of employees in an organization. That gives us a unique opportunity to tap onto providing additional services for these employees. For example, we could provide payday loans, we could provide insurance protection, we could also provide airtime top-ups, and more. This really consolidates everything that an employee needs and beyond in a single app. We are currently in 20 different cities across Myanmar and also in 2 other foreign countries, namely Sri Lanka and Vietnam. Sorry. Once again, our pricing model is quite simple. It's $1.50 per employee per month. Now, in contrast, our competitors who offer the same number of signs and same level of service and features are charging around $5 per employee per month. We're definitely a lot more affordable for small businesses. In terms of market size, in just Asia Pacific alone, the HR tech market is estimated to be about $50 billion. And recently, there was a report published by Deloitte predicting up to 47.8 million people across ASEAN 6 nations that will be transitioning into cloud HR software and transitioning into remote work over the next couple of years. In terms of our revenue, we've been in the business for about a year. We're making about $140,000 in annual recurring revenue across 150 paying companies. And by December 2021, we believe that we will be getting to $500,000 in terms of annual recurring revenue. These are some of our clients. Most are Myanmar companies, but you might also see some familiar names such as L'Oreal, Nuvia, Ericsson, which are multinational companies with an office in Myanmar, and they are also using our software. So really, our software is really made for companies that are scaling up, that have around 20 employees to about 500 employees. That's really the sweet spot. In terms of technology, we're built on modern technology. I want to focus on the unique IP that we have. The first unique IP that we have is our dynamic and flexible policy system. We call it policy. Basically, it's a group of settings. And also, secondly, we're building a no-code payroll configuration system. What that means is we can roll out different payroll engines without any need for engineering resources, so that our team can just configure our payroll engine to be rolled out into different countries. That really speeds up our market entry time. In terms of fundraising, we've raised about $250K across 2 different rounds in 2019 and 2020. We're going to be raising a $500K bridge round in early 2021, and hopefully, if we hit all the milestones, we'll be raising a $2 million Series A in late 2022. That's the end of my presentation, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Yemen. I found it very interesting. Bala, you have a question, so please go ahead.
Yeah. So, question for you is competition. You said your competition charges $5 and you charge $1.50. Question for you is, who's that competition and how come you are charging so less compared to them?
Sure.
as you scale, would you have to relook at that? That's question one. Second is, say, how do you acquire your customers today? What's your way of marketing and reaching out to your customers, and your customer acquisition cost as well?
Sure, great. Those are great questions. So I'd like to tackle the first one. The reason why we're able to competitively price our product is primarily because we have lower expenses because we're based in Myanmar. And especially, we feel that customer support function is probably the most expensive cost in terms of software as a service business. And therefore, by keeping that function in Myanmar, we're still able to offer the same level of service, the same level of customer support in other countries as well. So essentially, we're centralizing that operation so that we can continue to price at the same level. Our competitors are not based in Myanmar, and they're usually based in Malaysia, Singapore, or even Philippines, Indonesia. Even in countries like Philippines and Indonesia, the cost of a customer service agent is actually more expensive than that of Myanmar. That's why the cost difference. In terms of customer acquisition, most of our customers are coming in to us through our existing customers. So there's a word of mouth ability. And second, we're also doing quite a lot of online marketing activities. So we're doing webinars, we're releasing press releases, et cetera, to attract customers organically. So as of today, it's really difficult to say customer acquisition costs. And the reason why is we haven't spent a lot of money in terms of paid acquisition. All of the current growth is just through word of mouth and referrals primarily.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question to Abhi.
Thanks, Jima. This is a very interesting space. In fact, it's a pain point, though it would seem like it was solved by now, but it hasn't been solved. So I agree with where you're going, the direction. A couple of questions I have, and plus picking up from what Bala asked earlier, I don't think I caught who's your competition? Like which 3-4 people do you compete against? Number one. Number two is, I would actually encourage you to rethink your funding strategy. This is such a big problem that I would encourage you to fund more and grow larger very quickly. And the third is, you talked about your cost in Myanmar being low. I would suggest you think about value-based pricing. So what's the value you bring to a customer, and what's cost that you have? So I think we'd love to hear a competition, and then maybe figure out if there's a way to scale this faster rather than raise 2 million in 2 years from now.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I really appreciate it. In terms of our biggest competition, there are two companies specifically. One from Malaysia called Swingvi. They are about 4 years old. They are founded by 2 Korean entrepreneurs. And the second one is a Singapore-based company called HR Easily. HR Easily is substantially larger than Swingvi. HR Easily is already in 7 different countries across Asia. They basically are going to be competing with us head to toe, more or less. But both of their pricing starts from $5. So basically, their baseline is $5 and beyond. And I do take your point about funding. That's really an interesting perspective. To be very frank, I think we're being very, cautious about fundraising. Also because we currently are in Myanmar, and there's funding challenges in Myanmar, in a country like Myanmar, especially nowadays. So that's why we're a bit more, conservative when it comes to funding amount. But as we scale out to other countries, we believe that we should be able to raise more money. And I 100% agree with you. This is a big market, and the problem is only going to get bigger.
And the reason I said is because I think what Bala was alluding to earlier, you will see your customer acquisition costs will creep up. I mean, the market you're going after, 50 to 200 employees, SMB segment, is a massive, massive, massive market, but it's hard to get that market acquired in a cost-effective manner. So you will need more capital, and you will quickly realize that it's a noisy market, but it's definitely a big market to still crack in terms of pain point. So good luck.
Yeah. Thank you for the advice. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Abhi and Niyamat. Great presentation, and you can log off for now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Look forward to working with you. Thanks. Bye. Hi, Abdul.
Hi, Lakshya.
Abdul is the founder of Roar Media, and he's had a tremendous run over the past couple of years, and very exciting to see what he's doing in the space. Abdul, you have 6 minutes to present, and minute 5, I'll let you know that you have a minute more, and then we have about 4 minutes of questions. So over to you.
Sure. Thanks so much for that very kind introduction, Latika. Hi, everyone. My name is Abdul. I'm the co-founder and COO of Raw Media. So just to give everyone a quick introduction to our company. So we are Raw Media. We are a new age media platform based out of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and we create and publish content across 4 languages, reaching about 4 million users each month. The problem that we're trying to solve with Raw Media is that we saw a few years ago that millions of users in the South Asian region were coming online for the first time. And a lot of these users were local language internet users who had very little to no access to local language content that they could consume. If you're an English user and you consume content online, you have tons of options, from Vice to Vox to BBC to BuzzFeed. There's tons of options available, but for local language users, the options were very, very limited to things such as news, gossip, lowbrow content, and so on. So we wanted to really drive and make an impact in this space by creating and publishing good quality local language content for local language audiences within South Asia to consume. So right now we publish content in 4 languages, in English, Sinhala, Tamil in Sri Lanka, and Bengali for the Bangladeshi market. And right now we work with a base of about 200 plus writers and 100 plus brands and advertisers across both markets. And we also launched a contributor platform recently on Raw Media that allows users to come in and submit their own content that is curated by our panel of editors, which is then published on our platform. And right now we have about 300 plus submissions each month with a publish rate of about 60% on all submissions received. How we monetize and work with brands is through the use of content and sponsored content. So brands work with us to help get their message across to our audiences across the languages and platforms that we operate. Some of the noteworthy brands that we work with are HSBC, Dialog, Unilever, Nestle, and the rest of the brands on screen. And a lot of the work we do for them is sponsored series, sponsored content, articles, and we also help them with their own branded content that is published on their own platforms. At the moment, our current group ARR stands at $1.2 million, and our projected run rate for the next year is $2 million. And in terms of raising funds, we've raised $500,000 in our first pre-series A from BOV Capital and the Asiata Innovation Fund. And also 2 years ago, we raised a Series A of $1 million. And I believe some of the investors are also here on this jury. We've got BOV Capital, Asiata Innovation Fund, Striders, Hyperion Ventures, which is a local boutique investment firm. We've got SPK Tech Ventures, and also an angel investor, Mr. Nafi Kunda. And in terms of tech, so this is a bit of an interesting story. When we started off, we were using WordPress. And we realized that over time, WordPress was very constricting. It was not helping us scale, especially because at the time we were operating 5 languages. We were also present in India, but we had to shut that operation down due to the fact that it was not feasible after a certain point. But we were facing a lot of issues when it came to our tech stack. We found WordPress to be very hard to scale and very tough to manage overall with the level and quantity and volume of content that we were publishing on a daily basis. So we went ahead and built our own custom CMS as a base, and then we started adding features on top of it, such as the contributor platform, which I touched on briefly earlier. In addition to that, we've got features such as analytics tools, banner tools, etc. Anything that a media platform requires to function effectively, we built into our CMS from the ground up. And now there's a lot of interest from a lot of other media companies as well who want to license out our CMS for the use of their media publishing. And this is the stack we have. We have Next.js and Node.js for the backend front end, MongoDB for our databases, and the cloud platforms we use are DigitalOcean, Mongo Atlas, and Cloudflare at the moment. So that's a quick summary of who we are and what we do. I'd like to open up for questions now.
Thank you, Abdul. Bala?
Hey, you need to really walk me through a little bit more about what you guys do and how you make money. I got very confused about it. You said NGOs, then you showed a bunch of corporate logos, and you said contributor platform. So what is it that you guys write? Is it translating existing content into another language, or do you write original articles? I mean, what is it that you guys do, and how do you make money?
Sure. So I would like to answer this in two phases. So the first is the content side of things. So we create and publish our own content. So we've got our own internal content teams, and the types of content we do ranges from in-depth analysis of existing current affairs to lifestyle to history. So it's a very broad range of content topics that we cover, especially in the local languages. The English language platform is a bit more focused in terms of content because there's a lot of other alternatives available out there, but the local language platforms are very diverse in the types of content that we create and publish. With regards to the contributor platform, this was an avenue that we opened up because we were getting a lot of requests from our audience to be able to publish their own content on our platform. So we thought, why not open it up? Where we allow users to come and submit content. It's a curated medium, if you will, the contributor platform. It's still something new. We've had it live for about a year now, and it's so far been going quite well. In terms of monetization, we work with brands on sponsored content, and these brands also at times include NGOs. Specifically NGOs at the moment, because a lot of the content we do also it drives a lot of impact because it revolves around human stories. And NGOs are very, very fond of that kind of content, and they want to associate very closely with our brand. So we create a lot of content for them for their platforms, as well as create sponsored content for them and publish it on our platforms as well. So that's in terms of NGOs. And brands, of course, we work with as a standard media platform. We work with all of the large brands out there to have placements as well as content, sponsored content on the platform.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bala.
Next and last question to Manish.
Hi, Abdul. My question is just a double click on what Bala was asking. So you had shown an ARR value. Is that advertising revenue that you're getting from the brands plus the amount that you're charging for writing content, or is there a subscription model for the platform?
So right now we do not have a subscription model. It's primarily the fees we charge for hosting content on our platform as well as creating that content.
Okay, so that value did not include any of the advertising revenue that the brand is paying you.
No, so it also includes the advertising revenue. So that 1.2 million includes the fees for us to create the content as well as host the content and publish it on our platforms. So it's an aggregation of the two.
Got it. Thank you.
When you say your platform, it's on your website, is it, or is it also in other kind of paid media platforms?
No, so it's just on our website at the moment. We do not function as an agency. We want to be focused and primarily have our efforts directed only towards the creation and publishing of content on our channels. We also create content for brands for their own channels, but we do not help them distribute that because it moves outside our area of focus. And we found that there are a lot of other competitors in that space. So doing what we do and building really strong sort of skills in the space that we're operating in is kind of the best way for us to move forward. Or else we'll be competing in the spaces of agencies, media agencies, creative agencies, which is not necessarily our business.
That means you need to have good audience reach.
So right now we reach about 4 million people in total each month. So of that, about almost 2 million come onto the website, and the rest are through social media reach on our social media channels.
Thank you, Abdul. That was really good. Great.
Thanks very much.
And we'll be in touch. Thank you again.
Sure. Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye. Hi, Prashant. Welcome.
Hi, Latika.
Prashant Prem Kumar, founder and CEO of Agrithymics. Prashant, over to you. You get 6 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, I'll let you know. We have 4 minutes for quick Q&A after that.
Thanks, Latika. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, so my name is Prashant. I am the CEO of Agrithymics. We are an agri-fintech startup from Sri Lanka. Myself, my background is I'm a data scientist by profession. And prior to taking on this engagement, I was head of business intelligence for AI insurance. So very data-focused entrepreneur to look to solve real-world problems using data science. I also have with significant several years of experience in agri-tech, who is my senior architect and head of technology, and also Shanaka Dabare, who is the head of marketing with several years of marketing background in the Sri Lankan corporate space. I also have very strong panel of advisors, including Rajananand, Prajit Balasubramaniam from BOV Capital, and Manahara from Dialog Axiata, which is the largest telco service provider in Sri Lanka, as well as DFCC Bank also being one of our partners, one of the leading development bank in the country. The problem that we are solving is one of the biggest challenges faced by grassroots level smallhold farmers across Asia and Southeast Asia. That's pilferage by middlemen. Some of these farmers, this procurement process between the middlemen and farmers is very manual, non-technological, and there is no digitization in this process. Some farmers lose up to 15% in the crop value when this transaction goes through. The second biggest challenge is access to cash. So even the farmers, if they're able to sell their crops, to get their payment, at times it takes up to 90 days, and they have very limited banking facilities in some of the rural areas, and very limited digital money or payment networks that's available. Although this is a grassroots level problem, this is affecting close to 250 million farmers across Asia, South Asia and Southeast Asia. South Asia alone has close to 150 million farmers, majority of them coming from rural villages with very limited technological infrastructures. The monetary value of this problem is quite significant. It's in annual basis, we can come up to close to $75 billion, which is affecting all these farmers. So our technology, we provide a digital procurement and seamless transaction process in this farm to factory supply chain. That is the early stage of the crop production. Our reach, so despite being a 6-month-old startup, we have got more than 40,000 farmers registered and actively using in our platform. We have close to 350 collection agents seamlessly transacting through this process. We currently do more than 250,000 transactions a month, and we are expecting this number to go up by 5 times by this time next year. And currently, we are processing close to $30 million of crop to cash. So conversion of raw material, raw crop, that's been converted into cash by 2020, for the year of 2020. Currently, we are mainly focusing on tea smallholder, which is the majority segment in Sri Lanka, but we are also expanding into dairy, rubber, fruits and vegetables, and spices, covering a significant range of crops in our farmer database. So the product has 3 key features combined together, provides the best solution for farmers and the agri buyers. Number one, we facilitate procurement through IoT and AI-enabled procurement. So we bring technology into it to give a more transparency in the transaction between the farmer and the factory. Facilitating payment through AgriPay. So AgriPay is a transaction switch which enables farmers to access their cash, the crop to cash, within 1 hour of selling their goods from any bank ATM in the country, and any mobile network, mobile money service provider in the country. And also facilitating loans. So since we're able to churn a significant amount of data through our platform, especially on the farmers' demography, farmers' production, and financial usability, we are able to come up with credit score and then enable microloans and project loans for the farmers to improve their production and livelihood. The projection, again, despite being a 6-month-old startup, for 2020, we have projected $70,000 of revenue. Most of it's already been earned. For 2021, we are hoping to do close to $400,000 revenue. That's in our project pipelines. And by year 2024, we intend to hit close to $4.7 million in revenue. The revenue sources is primarily through transaction revenue, where we take 60 to 80 basis points on the transaction value, the crop to cash value. We also have income sources through micro-lending and project loans through our agri loan platform. We also intend to introduce weather index insurance, farm advisory, farm equipment rental, etc. So using the latest technologies and taking all form of technologies to the grassroots level for the farmers for their benefits. Finally, when it comes to funding, in April 2020, we raised our first round of investment of $360,000. It was facilitated by BOV Capital and through Dialog Axiata Digital Innovation Fund. By 2021 mid Q2, we intend to raise another $1 million to take this business and expand it further. The primary requirement for the funding is tech development and deployment, and of course into business development activity. to expand from Sri Lanka and also expand into selected regional markets, agri-focused regional markets like Bangladesh and Myanmar. So that's pretty much about Agritmix. We are an agri-focused digital innovation platform, and we intend to take technology to the grassroots, to the smallholder farmers across Asia and Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Prashant. Bala?
The question that I had is very intriguing. You seem to have developed a lot of context in the area that you are trying to build solution. What gave you this idea? What is your background to this particular problem statement with farmers?
Okay, so the biggest challenge that we saw was in Sri Lanka's biggest export was tea, and we have more than 450,000 tea smallholder farmers, and they were having a significant problem in this particular space. They were losing a lot of value, which was also one of the reasons why a lot of the farmers were leaving this particular industry segment. So we worked with some of the largest buyers, largest tea factory groups, and we figured out this problem and we figured out the best solution, and that's how we came into this space. So that's how we brought in the initial 30,000 farmers into this base as well.
Do you have any background in this space, or you just stumbled upon it?
Partly I stumbled upon it, but I was also working on the farm-to-table automation, trying to create this an e-commerce platform for to bringing farm products to the table. So that's where I had to engage a lot with the farmers and the entire supply chain. That's where I got the real problem was not in the last mile, rather in the very first source of at the source of inception itself. So that's where I actually stumbled across this problem.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Farhan?
Hi, Prashant. I really enjoyed everything that you had to say. I have a comment and a question. On the comment side of it, I actually come from a very long line of tea planters. So yeah, I have more tea in my veins than blood. So my question to that, the first part of that is that Sri Lanka, I know, is unique in that respect, where the tea industry has sort of focuses on smallholder farmers and consolidating manufacturers, whereas in the rest of South Asia, where we grow tea, Bangladesh as well as India, it's more sort of larger plantations, and you don't really have a smallholder sort of smallholder focused industry. So your ability to sort of translate that over into other markets is something that I'm curious to learn about. And second, this is I guess the real question. What makes you unique? What differentiates you from others?
Got it. So thanks, Farhan. So answer your first question. Actually, this is not, although we are primarily focusing on smallholder farmers, because that's the case in Sri Lanka, we also have a RPC model that works for agri-worker-based tea plucker-based system that's already implemented in Sri Lanka for the two of the largest tea factory groups, Haleys and Dilmah. Dilmah is a very known brand when it comes to tea globally. So they are also implementing our system right now. So this automates the field activity from plucking to task management, sundry worker automation. So we have one of those platforms as well. So it doesn't just cover the smallholder segment, it also extends into the regional plantation companies also. To answer your second question, what makes us unique is that we are the only ones who are using AI and IoT combined for this procurement solution, as well as integrating into the payment platform. So there are other solution providers who has just a mobile application to do the procurement, but we have automated end-to-end, starting primary focus on the farmer, but also making sure there is seamless transaction on the payments. So that end-to-end solution, we are the only one currently in the country who is able to provide that. And even regionally, I think we have an edge in that particular space.
And what are your settlement cycles?
So in Sri Lanka, we are able to, the way we have arranged with the factories that we work with, farmers can now access up to 60% of their payment within 1 hour of handing over their crop. And they can withdraw this payment through ATM machines and mobile money withdrawals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Balak?
So a quick question, just when Farhan was asking it, kind of reminded me. This, number one, giving access to cash within an hour requires a lot of capital on your side, right, to cover for it, isn't it? And second is you are also getting into financial products, giving them loan and all that. So how's your model going to work? It looks like this is quite a complex game that you're playing and requires very deep pockets and access to different networks.
Okay, that's correct. So basically, we process the data. So we process the data and the data of the farmers and the request between the farmers, and we pass this requirements directly to Dialog Finance, who is one of our partners, and DFCC Bank, who is also one of our partners. So when a farmer requests for a loan, we calculate their credit score. We would have already generated their credit score and their repayment capacity, and what's the maximum lending that we can provide to a farmer, and we directly pass that information to the bank. In some cases, we have pre-approved lending facilities, and that's
so
the
you
money
got a
that
lead generation for the bank, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes, okay. Yes. We provide lead generation of the bank, and we work on commission models.
Got it. Okay.
So we don't hold a loan book.
Got it. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Prashant. I appreciate you presenting to the jury.
Thank you, Latika. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, great. Hi, Alan. Alan is the founder of Secure ID. Alan, you have 6 minutes to present, and at minute 5, I will let you know that you're at the end.
Yep. Thank you, Latika. Good afternoon. Really happy to be here and to be selected as part of the program. My name is Alan Boylachan-Tuladar. I have about 28 years of experience in the IT sector in different aspects. And one of the biggest achievements that I've gotten in this past is to be able to provide access to people that do not have mastery of English language, specifically in localizing Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office into Nepali language, and also having developed the Nepali spell checker for Microsoft to be used right across all of the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the Office suite of products, including Windows. I also ran the Microsoft Innovation Center in Nepal as the country director for 8 years, and also was awarded the Microsoft Regional Director for 4 years. Today, there are 3 companies that I run in parallel. One is a Lalit Money Transfer that handles cross-border payments from US, Canada, European Union, UK, and South Korea into Nepal. Besides that, to increase the financial inclusion and to provide savings and credit facilities, I also manage Imperial Savings and Credit Cooperative Limited, a cooperative bank. And then there is the digital wallet eDeva Super App, where not only for payments, but also for to support the gig economy with ride-sharing, food order, and a various lot of other products. So with the secured ID, the problem that we are trying to solve here is primarily to make sure that the persons that provide their ID documents and their identity to see how we can verify that. In the past 1 week, big headlines back home in Nepal that was being created was where fake ID documents was being presented to the telecom, and replacement SIM cards were being taken out from those fake identification documents. And with that SIM card, bank accounts were being accessed and literally emptied. So we want to make sure that with the secured ID, we protect to ensure that this kind of fraud does not happen. And more than that, also for the second aspect, there's a lot of human biases that financial institutions have against their customers, looking at the way that the customer is clothed and how he behaves, their political, their sexual, their gender, their religious, and a whole lot of other human biases. We want to make sure that the human bias is replaced, and the customer onboarding process, there's 2 simple steps that we do. First is to take an ID document picture from their phone, and the second would be to take a selfie picture and then to match the 2. In the ID document, in terms of the checking, what we do is to see if it has been altered or doctored in any way, and to do an optical character recognition to strip off the first name, middle name, last name, and a whole lot of data that is there in the ID document, and populate the database with that and verify that against the existing database with the financial institution. We also make sure that the person behind the selfie picture is a live person, and then match that selfie with the image onto the ID document. And we've been able to match even 35-year-old picture to ensure that the facial biometrics does not change. While this is being done, anti-money laundering check onto all of the OFAC lists and combating of financing of terrorism and all of the other lists, sanctions lists are checked, and also to see if the person is a politically exposed person or a family of a PEP. And then to go on and see if the person is in any of the adverse or negative media, and provide a digital dossier to the Bank of Financial Compliance Officer within minutes. The technology stack that we use is an optical character reader, character recognition OCR, artificial intelligence and machine learning to back up the AI engine, blockchain to have a distributed ledger in the entire blockchain. And we use a host of Microsoft services in Azure, and also cognitive services in terms of OCR and face as well, and provide a full-fledged solution to the customer. Identity theft and fraud is a big concern, not only for the banks, but for the customer as well. In 2018, 4.5 billion estimated data records were lost or stolen, and that is 289 records every second. And today, the situation is that each of the customers would go to a bank and provide their identity document or their personally identifiable information over and over repeatedly to each and every bank, and every time they want a customer. In future, when the customer is using the secured ID, they would have one source of truth into our platform, and they would just swipe and provide that to a financial institution or a non-financial institution. And then if they want to revoke that access, they can just do another swipe and revoke that access as well. So the ownership of the data would be with the customer. In terms of finances, our monthly burn rate today is $38,000. We have a runway for 4 months. Our run rate with the existing customers that we have is $4 million. Our projected run rate for the next 12 months with the customers that we've signed NDA with, and where we'll be doing a POC and integrating with them, would be $8 million. We expect to grow 10x on a year-to-year basis for the next 5 years, mainly because this is not a nice-to-have feature for the financial institutions, for the cross-border payment companies, but this is a mandatory regulatory requirement. Currently, our annual rate of return is 35%. We are currently bootstrapped, but looking for raising $1 million in the next quarter for 15% of the company. As likely said, we definitely are on the highway to be a unicorn. And jury, we need your support to be selected in this competition so that we definitely turn out to be a unicorn in future. We are safe, we are secure, we are fast, we are the secured ID.
Thank you, Alan. Question from Abhi.
What's your USP? What's your moat? In terms of competition, there are definitely a few players out there doing the same thing, providing identity as a service. And the longer term question is, do you see yourself as a platform or as a service? Because at some point, at least in my opinion, and we'd love to get your perspective, I see this becoming as a commodity, right? And what you can add, along with it is really what builds trust in a platform. And the services you add along with it will create value for the consumer and the provider. So we'd love your 2 cents.
Abhi, thank you very much for your question. Definitely, I think our USP is, and I come back with this history, is the different languages. Today, we are in 251 countries in terms of being able to access 6,800 different types of documents, being able to read right to left characters, being able to do Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, Indic languages, all of the 12 of them, and also being able to access Cyrillic languages as well. Second, I think, is the technology stack that we provide a SDK to the customer without having to do API integration, making the whole integration so fast. We definitely want to be a platform company and commoditize our solution so that we have our customers, like a few of our customers are even law firms that's doing 15, 20 checks a month, and a few are of our financial institutions that does millions of checks a year. So in trying to reach out to different kinds of customers and to be able to make sure that however that they want to do it, whether they want to do the AML check onto our platform, or they want to be integrated so we become a white label solution, and that becomes for the customer. And we also work with messengers and Viber and WhatsApp customer onboarding as well. So the whole idea would be to ensure a smooth customer onboarding in a safe and secure manner.
Interesting, and I think we aligned. You mentioned you said the statement. You said you want to become a commodity at some point because you want to be a platform, which I think is a good strategy. At that point, what will set you apart? Is it just a network? And obviously the languages is a big part of it, but will it just be the platform capability? And how would you monetize that platform at that point? Maybe this is further away, so you don't have to answer that now, but just food for thought is as you become present in a lot of ways, how do you set apart your service to others?
Abhi, I think the global trend today is that my personal identifiable information data is getting critical. And more the trend is also that with open banking, banks are sharing my data across to different customers. And we want to ensure that in future, that the ownership of my data is owned by the customer itself and not by financial institutions. So, and with the legislation and the policies moving towards this with GDPR and a whole lot of other policies in regions and in different countries, we hope that we'll be a platform where the ownership of that data is on the customer. The onus is on the customer, not on a financial institution. Today, when we talk to financial institutions, they feel that they own the data, but we want to convert that and take it onto the platform where the customer would do a right swipe to provide the data access to a financial or non-financial institution, or do a left swipe and not and revoke that access. And that's the utopia that we want to get into the future, to be able to provide that control over their personal data to each and every customer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Last question to Kishan.
Yes, hi, Alan. Thank you for the presentation. Can you talk us about your team? Can you tell us who else is there in your team?
I have a total team of 21 people, both in Nepal and a development team in India as well. We are primarily to ensure that we reach out to the region and we are able to market and sell to the world. We are registered and incorporated in Singapore. My technical lead is someone who's spent over 11 years in the US. Who's worked with 2 financial institutions there and worked very closely with the cloud and has come back to Nepal to be able to lead the team in terms of development. In terms of my the operations manager, Junu, she's been in the business for over 13, 14 years. So I have some seasoned leadership, both within our team to take this forward, and who already has established not only the technical skills but the relationships in the industry to take it forward as well.
Just a quick follow-up on that. You're a B2B business, right? I mean, you usually your customers are banks. What's your sales lead cycle like?
Kishan, we are both a B2B and a B2C as well. Today we are B2B because that's the easy part, but we want to get into, like I said, onto a B2C so that the customer would own their data, download the Secured IT app, and then provide access from the app to a financial institution. The lead cycle is very, very high. So it takes a long time for a financial institution, even after signing the NDA, for us to get into proof of concept, and from the proof of concept onto, I mean, it just takes ages. And many times, like in the first presentation, my customers say, "Oh, we want to be the first customer to be signed up and within a month," but the reality is that it's 6 months down the road and still we are still talking the same things. And every time we go to a different department in the large financial institution, everything has to start from square one again. It's like a snakes and ladder game where we start from 0 and then go to 99 and come down to 0 again. But we keep on going and then adding more customers and going forward that.
Okay, thank you.
And I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Kishan. I think
thank you very much for this opportunity.
Great. Good luck. And great. Thanks. You can log off now, Alan. We've got Sochit Bin from Pet Young, and we look forward to hearing from you, Sochit.
Thank you, and then hi all jurists there, and then I'm Sochit Bin, co-founder and business operation of 8 years. We have people experience in tech, business, organizational development, and business development team. We have Miss Lim San. She is a co-founder and CEO of Pat Yeung, and then she have almost 20 years in tech and business, especially in the last 10 years. She involved in health database and health system management. And we have Mr. Hanafi. He's a business manager, and then he have 6 years of experience in business management. And myself, I'm Suchit, co-founder and business operation advisor. And then I have almost 20 years in the project management, business management, and Nafi and me in the last 5 years we involved in transform hospital into digital. Almost 200 hospitals here in Cambodia. We have a development team. We have Ms. Kol Kandra and Ms. Paula and Mr. Ping. They are the team lead in the technology. And then there is our team that found Pat Yeung. And then Pat Yeung, we have solved 3 problems. First, secure patient data and increase productivity, and also increase the revenue and cost saving of hospital operation management. That is what we have been offer solution to the hospital and clinic operation management. And for the customer, we have B2B model. We have private and public hospital and clinic. We have 150 hospital and clinics sign up to go digital with Pat Yeung, and we have we manage medical record of 1 million patients from our panel clinic and hospital, and then we have 10K user from our panel clinic that they sign up to use Pat Yeung. And we also have a B2C model for connection hospital doctor and nurse providing the healthcare service to the patient. And then this is a better connect and for hospital operation management and the quality of care and better save life of the people in Cambodia at the moment. And Pat Yeung, we have 4 model of revenue that we generate. Is onboard installation and training. We have subscription, monthly subscription, reoccurring fee, and we have e-Health Yeung card membership, one-off sale, and also we have transaction for the e-Health Yeung application and appointment and teleconsultation and treatment of hospital. And this year we are raising fund for 1 million from local VC in Cambodia to scale up in Cambodia, and in the next 18 months we are looking to aim to raise 5 million for Mekong region scale up. And for the Pat Yeung, we use the technology Laravel and PHP framework and Laravel. We use Postgres for database, and we use also JavaScript. We use the Flutter for mobile and Firebase Messenger and Pusher for that mobile. That is all from Pat Yeung. Please, if you have any question, please. Thank you for your attention.
Suchit, thanks for the presentation. I appreciate it. I am trying to get a better handle on your solution and your product. Are you building an EMR? Are you building a data lake between the different elements of a hospital system? Or and who are the users of your solution? Are they the doctors? I mean, who's the actually end consumer?
For the Pat Yeung, the end consumer, hospital, doctor, nurse, pharmacist, lab technician, and imaging technician, and even though because we not just electronic medical record, but we also facilitate the whole process, hospital operation, HR, and also stock, pharmacy, inventory, cashier, and accountant. Those are the end user. Those are the user of Pat Yeung. And for the end user, for eHub Yeung, call integration, for connection, service provide, health service provider and consumer is the general population in Cambodia. They are the through our panel clinic.
So basically the full ERP of hospital system, that's what you're building. Is that right?
So, sorry?
So basically building the entire ERP, the entire operations.
Sure. The entire operation of hospital, from the medical and treatment work and until the billing of the hospital operation.
So if I own a health clinic, if I'm looking to buy your solution, who will I evaluate you against? Like, who's your competition? Like, if I'm going to put an RFP out or evaluate, who would I think about buying you versus somebody else?
The buying somebody else because we are the localized, we are hospital specialized, and also we all in one solution. While the other, they just focus on the billing or medical record. We have currently we have a local competitor and overseas competitor, but we are the one who share the bigger market, while the other they just share only the billing in the hospital and patient management registration only. But we are the whole process of the medical record and also the whole process operation management facilitation from registration back until the patient go back home.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sajid.
Thank you for inviting us to join the panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You can log off, Sajid. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Matt. Good afternoon and welcome. You have a pitch for 6 minutes. At minute 5, I will let you know that if you're running over, and then 4 minutes for questions. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to present today. So my name is Matt Hayter, and I'm the CEO here at ProjectWorks. I co-founded ProjectWorks with my 2 business partners, Julian Clark and Doug Taylor, where we were all working together at the Microsoft Gold partner Provoke Solutions. So Doug was one of the founders there and had been building out a product internally to run Provoke because they couldn't find anything on the market that fitted their needs. Then kind of based off staff and customer feedback, we had the idea to turn this internal system into a product. That's where ProjectWorks was born. Fast forward kind of 2 years of late nights and long weekends, rebuilding the system into a marketable SaaS platform, we then spun out into our own company. A little further down the track, we met Masood Taibbi, who's the CEO and founder of private equity firm Bridgewest Group. So Bridgewest has over $1 billion of assets under management and a track record of taking over a dozen companies from seed through to multinational status. Masood also has a solid technical background, holding a PhD in mobile radio propagation. So what does ProjectWorks actually do? Well, in short, we simplify professional services. We do this through an all-in-one SaaS platform where businesses can manage things such as resource booking, revenue forecasting, timesheeting, and invoicing. And then we can then report on key metrics such as profitability, utilization, and recoverability. The reason that we're better than other products in this space is that almost all of them are either big ERP systems, which are incredibly expensive, unusable, and generic to the point that user adoption is so poor that the information in them isn't reliable, or they're small SaaS products that only do one thing, such as timesheeting. To contrast this, ProjectWorks takes all the features that are useful for professional services from these big ERP systems, and then we obsess about usability and how our customers actually interact with software, and then we sell it at a price that's palatable to medium-sized businesses. And it turns out that people really like this approach. One of our customers said, You know, you guys built what we actually needed, not what you sat in a room and thought we might need. And now we've got customers across APAC, Africa, Europe, and North America. Our customers range from as small as boutique consultancies with under 10 staff through to multinationals managing a couple of hundred staff across multiple continents. As we spun out of a software services company, that was an obvious place for us to start. But as we've continued to develop our go-to-market and find product market fit, we found ProjectWorks is great for architects, management consultants, engineering firms, and various others. Earlier this year, we also engaged Forrester Research to do a total addressable market sizing exercise, where we identified a number of verticals and geographies that are going to be obvious to break into in the future. Most importantly, though, the addressable market's huge, which is going to enable us to scale up to get that unicorn status. So, what does this scale actually look like? Well, if we start by looking at the chart on the left, we can see our trajectory so far. So last year we did our first seed funding round, and initial growth was slow as the investment was all being made on the product side rather than sales. So we ended that year on just over 50,000 ARR. While we weren't bringing in a heap of new revenue, we were working very closely with beta customers, and the product was showing a lot of promise. So all the shareholders agreed to do a second funding round and start building out that sales engine. So as you can see on the chart, this worked well, and we closed out October this year sitting at just over 450K ARR, and we'll hit the $500,000 mark by the end of 2020. We're currently working through next year's budget, and if we take a look at the chart on the right, we can see our projected ARR based on our current budget discussions, and this scenario will take us to 2.7 million by the end of next year and 11 million by the end of 2022. The really great thing about this plan, though, is it only takes us to about 0.1% penetration in the US and 0.5% penetration in APAC, which means there's plenty more room for us to grow beyond this. And we really believe we have the fundamentals to build a billion-dollar company here. So what does funding look like to date? Well, if we move through the timeline, like I mentioned earlier, the first couple of years were bootstrapped, followed by an incubation period at Provoke, where we could bring in some money to keep the lights on through doing services work. Our real funding journey started in April last year, when Bridgewest acquired Provoke's share in our business, and then Bridgewest, myself, and the other founders put in around $1 million with Bridgewest making up the vast majority of that. After a successful 2019, we put in another $1 million between us, again with Bridgewest making up that majority. Fast forward to October this year, we've been approved for a $320,000 low interest loan to kickstart our AI offering through the innovation arm of the New Zealand government. We're estimating to raise another 2.5 million in Jan, and we're currently working through that budget and getting close to board sign off. We also plan to take on 250K of funding from sources outside the current shareholders in March. Then from a technical perspective, we're largely built on the Microsoft stack. The website is multi-tenanted .NET MVC web app. On the back end, it's generally SQL Azure with Elastic database pools for tenant database, Cosmos DB for logging. We also have a direct data connection, which gives customers real-time access to their data through a clever system of index views. This essentially gives them data warehouse functionality that plugs really nicely into analytics platforms such as Power BI. Further to that, we're starting to build out our AI offering, and we've hired an AI master's graduate who's been building out proof of concepts for things such as resource recommendation engines and prediction engines for things like staff churn. So we've got a rock solid tech stack, but it's really the combination of this with our passion for usability and our depth of expertise in professional services that sets us apart from the rest. Thank you all very much for listening, and I would love to hear your questions.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks, Matt. A couple of questions that I have. One is do your customers, like architects and construction firms or a few other people, do they use it internally to manage their staffs and contractors? Or is it also a platform where they can find contractors? Is it like a marketplace? That's question number one. Number two is how do you are already spreading yourself in so many geographies. What's your customer acquisition, kind of GTM plan?
Yeah, sure. So first question is, it's not really like a acquisition platform. It's really for managing their internal workforce and contractors, though there are some really nice features for managing contractors so they know, like they can have a contractor pool, like a lot of our customers kind of like lean on. so they know when a customer might, a contractor, sorry, might become available. And with the geography split, we're really only targeting kind of New Zealand, Australia, and the US. By being in sort of the Xero marketplace and things like that, we're getting passive customers from other countries, but our real go-to-market are those 3 geographies. And a lot of our customers in those geographies have offices across the planet, essentially. So the target is really kind of narrow, but we're catching a bit in the net as we go.
How are you acquiring within New Zealand?
So we have 3 sales development reps, SDRs, that are kind of doing research and building lists and finding customers for us, and then they basically book demos, and then myself and our account exec do demos and then kind of go through that. And we're just sort of starting to build out our more digital offering as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, this is super interesting. I have a few questions actually, so maybe you can take as much as time allows. One is, you talked about competition in the space, right? So I saw a slide as well, NetSuite of the world. I think there's a company called ProjectWorks or Project Partners in the US. There's Oracle Projects. There's Clarizen. So. I mean, you alluded to it earlier. You said there's a lot of complexity in those products, right? So people come to you for simplicity. Is that truly it? Is that the USP or the value add? And if that's the case, then I imagine at some point there's a threshold, there's a graduation problem, right? So let's say a team grows in complexity, and then they will go to, let's say, a more complicated or more comprehensive solution, if that's the way you're thinking about it, right? So we'd love to understand better, how do you compete against, because if I'm a NetSuite, for example, I could obviously make a light solution catered towards earlier part of the market. So how do you win? Number 2 is, and how do you imagine this to evolve as as you grow in scale? But yeah, let's start with that first, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, a lot of the features in the big products like NetSuite and OpenAir, they aren't used by professional services companies. They're really blanket platforms. And so we're, like I kind of alluded to around our focus on usability, like everything we build and our whole product roadmap is driven by what our customers are asking for. And so I think there's actually more value in having less features that work better a lot of the time. I think there's a good saying, like, if you're great, you don't have to be good. So I kind of like that. And a lot of these platforms like that, they are really resting on their laurels. A lot of them is kind of old desktop software that they've kind of done a port to SaaS. It's not SaaS first. They're really clunky. And this is kind of what our customers are telling us. Like, a lot of people we're talking to have been on those platforms for a long time and looking. Some of them have been looking for years to find a replacement because they're just so unusable. So we've got up to a couple of hundred customers and some users with some of our customers. I think it would personally scale up to around sort of a business of around 500 users with our current sort of offering. And the addressable market for up to that is massive. Like the numbers that I've kind of talked about, that 0.1% penetration in the US, that's only up to businesses with 500 users. That's not even with larger than that. So yeah.
And what's your pricing strategy right now? How much do you charge? What's your ACV?
Yeah, so it varies a little bit, but it's around kind of $40 per seat. But there's kind of like a minimum structure and a minimum amount, and it's kind of slightly regional as well. Yeah. Now, average seats are around 50 seats is our average, and sort of I think it's about $35 US our average. Yeah.
Got it.
Is that per month?
Yeah, per month. So I think it works out at like $1,500 or between $1,500 and $2,000 a month per customer. Yeah, and most of our customers are on sort of at least 1 year kind of retainers. Yeah.
And typically when a user uses it, you expect them to use it how often? Is it once a week, once a day? Are you doing their scheduling on the tool? How often are they using this platform for?
Yeah, so it varies based on the users. Because it's timesheeting and expenses, a lot of users are doing it every day. A lot of our customers are encouraging their staff to timesheet daily because then they get the most real-time value real-time data, sorry. And then like project managers are probably our most kind of power user group, and they're in every day too, kind of, doing work breakdown structures, they're doing revenue forecasts, they're playing resourcing Tetris with other project managers, sort of negotiating. So yeah, it's definitely a daily use kind of tool. Yeah.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much. This is very interesting.
Just a follow on to Abhi's question. Do you see a scale up and scale down of subscriptions because it's contingent workforce / project based usage by customers?
Yeah, so a lot of our new monthly revenue comes from existing customers scaling up, and that's kind of part of our marketing, is that we introduce a platform to enable businesses to scale. So quite a large number of customers that come on, they get to around 20 users. They've been kind of making do in spreadsheets. They've got as far as they've gotten just because they're really good at what they do. And then they need kind of that platform to enable them to do that next kind of bit of growth. And so we do get a lot of uplift from current customers too. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matt.
And thank you all for your time.
You get 6 minutes to present, Jigme, post which we have Q&A, and so over to you right now.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Jigme Lezarinzen, and I'm the CEO of DrukeRide, and I've been working and having the vision of like having transport as seamless as possible. And my co-founder and the current chief executive operations officer is Deshin Dema. She has about like 7 years experience. And I have a designer, Sangin Yudup, who is 4 years experience with graphic designs. I have a developer, Parth, who is 8 years experience on application development. I have a lawyer, Tashi Wangmo, who is 4 years experience on legal consulting, and I have Kezang Churin on as an accountant for 3 years experience. I have Pema Wangmo as a manager, 6 years experience, and Jimmy Churin, who has been working entirely like about like 12 years in the station. And then she has been an instrumental part of where we have expanded our bus ticket industry to all across the country. So DrukeRide basically is an app-powered transport service provider that was founded in 2016, and the core vision that we have is to change the industry with mobile technology. And our founding principle of safety, accessibility, and improving lives of drivers and the community has been our core value. And the problems that we are currently addressing is fare rate. When we started off, we felt like there was a need to have a fare rate for people to know and people to have. And we addressed this with our mobile application, and we are trying to connect the travelers with transport owners. We wanted to have them the access of information and digitalization of economy and save time. Basically, what we really want to get into is to have the cheapest delivery system that has never been implemented. That is where our application will help us launch our vision. So what happens in our application is basically people can quote their rate on how much they want to pay for their delivery or how much they want to pay for their ride. And this is where we really want to focus ourselves and then really impact the lives of people. And current customers, our current customers we are across Bhutan, and we have 30 operators with us. We have connected 310 routes across the country. We have partnered with 2 airlines in Bhutan, that is Druk Air and Bhutan Airlines. We have partnered with Bhutan National Bank, and it's our banking partner for digital wallet. We have partnered with Taxi Association, that is our taxi partner. We have connected with restaurant owners of about 157 currently registered. And currently we are trying to, it's on the beta phase, and then we are trying to launch this food delivery inside our application as well. And our one of the prime customers are e-commerce vendors, and we are trying to deliver their parcel and then orders through our network. Currently, our annual recurring revenue is $50,000, and our annual run rate is 102,000, and our projected run rate is 239,000. Basically, this is because currently we have partnered with BNB to have scan and fee facility. That is a digital mode of payment currently happening in the country, and for that we get about like 1 cent commission per transaction. That is one of our fintech initiative as well. And regarding the funding, we have collateral-free loan that up to 100,000 we have currently received from Druk Holding and Investment. Druk Holding and Investment is the biggest company in the country that is like currently happening in the country, and then we have got some funding from Loden Foundation and Bhutan National Bank as well. And we have not sold any shares to any of the parties currently, and currently working with Bhutan National to provide financial solutions to bus operators, taxi drivers, and then this opportunity will help us raise money if needed to expand our reach. This is where Bhutan National Bank comes in as our shareholder as well if we want to sell our shares. Then the application is developed on like Swift using Xcode. It's a native application that we have currently been has been deployed to the market. We have Android application that is using Java using Android Studio, and our backend is run by PHP and MySQL database. And our unique IP is voice and finger gesture recognition for people with disability. This is where we really feel that we really need to work on, and we have been pushing this, and we have been working with the community of disabled society, and that is where we feel like our Druk Ride application can make an impact for people with disability, where they can request request a ride, or want to send a parcel, or like we basically want them to be independent. And this is one of the core vision that we really want to fulfill, where people with disability or anyone that has some sort of problem, that we want to really be there to help them. Thank you so much.
Hi, Jigme. That was very informative. I have a few questions, and I'm sorry if I'm sort of monopolizing it. How many verticals do you have in Druk Ride? Second, what is the your market size? Your TAM, SAM, SOM, whichever. And are there any competitors similar offering similar services such as Druk Ride in Bhutan?
Yes. So currently, the market size for Druk Ride is about like 1 million. So annual revenue should be 1 million, and then we do have competitor. One of our competitor is like Bhutan Post, but they still use our system. And then they have bus services, so we do sell their tickets online for them. But what we felt with Druk Ride is we have about like 8,000 drivers registered, taxi drivers registered in the system. And what we felt was, if we could bring something like quoting of rates, where right now it's all fixed rates, and where Druk Ride wants to penetrate is to, if an independent person wants to send their parcels, what we really want to achieve is to have their say, have their quotations, and a person can quote, okay, this is how much we want to quote the price for sending my parcel, and that's where like drivers can negotiate with the sender. This is where we are, and yes.
So it sounds as if you've got it's a ticketing platform, it's a ride share platform, and deliveries as well. So food delivery and delivery.
Yes.
Okay, so that's for individual services.
Yes. And then we have a wallet system based, where we are into fintech as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jigme, thank you so much. This is very interesting. I guess one question I have, but two parts to it. One is typically what's the first service that people come to you for? Like what do they download your app for, that one first service? And second is if you look at the split up in terms of the different verticals that Fran was asking, what's the usage? I mean, is it 25% use taxi service, 20% use, right, whatever your postal service? What's the split up in that sector, in that manner? I almost envision you as a logistics super app. Is that what you're trying to build?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. If you can answer me the question, that'd be great.
So the market share currently, like the people needing to use our services and downloading our app, is basically for bus tickets. And they when Juke started, there was the main motivation started with where people couldn't find counters or call or do anything to get a bus ticket. They had to go all the way to the bus stations. That was an inspiration that we started with, and we really strongly feel that Amazon becoming the biggest sector and then one of the biggest companies is through logistics. And if we can grab hold on to the transport sector, I think logistics is part of what we do and then what we can conquer. And currently, our customers are using our services for bus tickets. It's about like 55% of our services, and then taxi service comes in around like 25%, and the rest.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhi. Thank you, Jigme. Thank you for joining us from Bhutan.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jigme. Thanks.
Yeah.